Hello and welcome to LARP number 9. Today we're revisiting the Stop Killing Games campaign as it hit its goal of 1 million signatures in the EU. We've brought on Andy from the Bunker Dweller channel, who you might recognize from his videos on Halo 4 and Infinite. We'll also talk later about the ferret in the room, as it's impossible not to since I made a video about it, but that'll be later if you care just about the SKG topic.
Good to sit down with you guys. Good to finally have a chance to properly chat. I mean, we did chat with your Spartan Ops video.
Well, yeah, that's like, we do episode 0.5s. That's like LARP 8.5, and I might make it like its own thing at some point.
I don't think people realize, like, that was literally the first time we've ever chatted, was me hopping on for Spartan Ops. So, thanks for that.
He played Spartan Ops with us, so
only a little bit.
He's one of the veterans.
I couldn't stomach too much of it.
Well, listen, you played more. I think you played as much or more than most of the people that were there, like, all night.
Yeah.
Listen, though, Spartan Ops had an end-of-life plan, so can you really criticize it?
That's true. Much unlike a lot of the AAA games that are coming out now, who seem to lack an end-of-life plan or have zero consideration for existing beyond the length that the company wants it to go. This is, of course, to tie things back to SKG. This has been a really hectic month for the movement. It's been pretty astonishing just how much has happened and how much has changed, and kind of the scope of the movement itself, at the very least, in the sense of how many people are aware of it, the fact that the industry is very clearly now aware of it. They're sniping shots at it now, so that's great that we now have to deal with that.
I guess I'll start with this. I got a decent number of comments on the Pirate Software video about how the movement is doing fine, and that he was irrelevant the entire time.
Who, Pirate?
Mm-hmm. And I'm like, man, yeah, it's fine now.
Wasn't fine, yeah, like over a month ago.
Yeah, like 2 months ago, right before I left to finish the trip. Yeah, it was kind of on the ropes.
What was it at?
It was at 450,000 signatures.
And now it ended at like 1.4, right?
1.48 million.
So it's like a million post
the end of SKG video.
Yeah. It's it's rare that you get to have a quantifiable number to stick to how much people hate a certain individual.
Mm-hmm.
How much do we want to open this conversation already? Do you guys think this is actually gonna like do anything? Do you think?
So yeah, I'm of course a cynical person who approaches life from when the ink dries. That's kind of my philosophy.
Yeah.
So do I think it'll do something? The way I see it is like, and I said this to somebody who was like, "Oh, this is cute, What do you think's gonna happen when it goes against the real lobbyists?" And I'm like, if it was mauled and changed drastically and made like woefully ineffective, but it was just enough to save one game, that's still
worth it.
A lot more than no games.
Yeah. I mean.
So, like, I don't think in terms of, like, oh, yeah, I'm going to get my Utopia ending, because there's been nothing in my life where I got the Utopia ending in terms of politics. So, I don't see this being any different.
Like, I feel like the best case scenario is that this just becomes one of the, like, the use of AI art, right? It's so toxic now for, like, anybody to even consider using it. Like, they just get blown to oblivion by like basically every user on the internet. So a lot of people are just, a lot of artists and stuff are just avoiding using AI and stuff. That might happen with this now to some extent. Obviously, like I imagine like EA and the big publishers won't give a shit, but maybe like smaller AA studios and stuff will basically be like, hey, this is a selling point for us to say that we have an end of life plan for this game.
Yeah, you're seeing it's you are seeing it already.
Issue. Yeah, it's an important issue with people and stuff like that. So just the fact that there's been this upwelling of support, it proves there's a market there. And when there's a market, just a little bit of effort would go a long way.
It's a fad. People are only going to care about it for like 2 weeks, and then they'll move on to the next guy.
Yeah, like with Pirate.
I think the hope really is that this is just a wake up call to people, because at the very least, I think people just are completely unaware of how, not only of how bad things are, but of how good things could possibly be. And for years and years,
I also view it as it's opening up the opportunity for kind of smaller review channels to also cover this type of stuff and then get like a more positive reception from it. And so
yeah. I mean, for a long time, it literally felt like it was really just Ross, like
yeah,
Ross, and then Dead Game News
and
Network.
then like the occasional person. Like I did Helldivers
Yeah.
too. This was before Stop Killing Games was even started. I talked about like, hey, the live service component's kind of a problem in terms of preserving this.
But I think the hope really is that just to at least show people, like, hey, this is ownership of a game, being able to play a game beyond what the company wants you to do with it. Like, this isn't some fantastical thing that you should like only dream about. Like, this is a very practical solution that you should be advocating for. I think for too long the conversation was just kind of left like in the hands of people who would just accept and say, oh yeah, this online game that I play, it's shut down, there's no recovering it. It was very, and it still remains pretty common, just of people kind of accepting, like, yeah, online games die. That Overwatch that I bought, yeah, I no longer have access to that. That's okay.
So you had a written point about apathy, and that was one of the things I had written a response to.
I mean, that's it. What it is, yeah, it's kids, and I do think it's a younger generation as well, combined with people who just like only play, you know, for lack of a better word, modern slop. People who aren't aware that there was a period in time where games used to work like this quite easily, where games used to work with community servers, where games used to work offline. And that's the thing, everyone talks about offline modes. When the topic of multiplayer games is brought up, we're not just asking for an offline mode. Like, games can work without publisher intervention, and that's how games used to work for decades.
Remember how Valve has abandoned Team Fortress 2 for like 10 years, and people are still playing it?
Still playable. You can still play Half-Life Deathmatch. You can still play TF Classic.
It's not just the Valve servers, you know? Like, it's dedicated servers. You would still be able to play like Concord, and I think that like the game would have gotten like a small niche user base, nothing that could have sustained what was it, Firebright Studios or whatever, but like in terms of the game getting a community and keeping a community, like there were people who swore by it as like an arena shooter, so
there were
that can't happen.
There were people who swore by the game. I remember Dirty Bomb had like a very weird but long surviving post-release, post-death community. Games can survive without publisher support, and I'll add to gamer apathy and just gamer acceptance of games dying. There are people who seem to think when we talk about wanting to like when we want to stop games from dying, when we want to stop games from being killed, people seem to think that means like we want to stop games from not being popular. I see that brought up a lot.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people say like, oh, why do you want to prevent a game from dying? It's natural. Games lose players all the time.
It's because people make why did this game die videos, and what they're talking about is like it lost player. But they'll say that like
God,
a game that has
so
like 5,000 players a month is dead. Like, so that
I went to Steam to play the least played games ever, and it's like Gary's Mod. It's like a Gary's Mod server.
Yeah. Well, my response to the apathy thing was, I think a lot of it had to do with the kind of primary examples for years of dead games being kind of just like games that were greedy cash grabs to begin with. And I think that originally fostered a feeling that, well, nothing meaningful was lost or being killed because, you know, it's Battleforge, you know, it's a microtransaction riddled like multiplayer oriented game. It's not necessarily like the biggest loss.
It's Lawbreakers.
Yeah, it's like, it's funny to make the joke that like, oh, Stop Killing Games might have kept Lawbreakers around, and it's like, but why were you mad at Lawbreakers to begin with? it was more so like meta reasons. It wasn't like I think like there could be like, I don't know, 8 people out there that might want to do a night every now and then.
That's also
I mean, let's not go overboard, but I mean, if you imagine Lawbreakers without Cliffy B, like all of a sudden that's a more positive prospect. I'd fully agree with you, and actually, one point that I had as well is, and this kind of ties into something we can talk about later, is I think as games are being killed, that sense of apathy only grows because games are a service now. Kids are playing games, and they don't see a game as a piece of art. They don't see a game as like this is a Half-Life, this is a Morrowind, this is a Halo. They see a game that's in their hands, and it's Fortnite, or it's as we said, Concord.
I agree and I disagree, because I think that's kind of like a getting older boomer way to look at it. Like, oh yeah, the kids these days don't get it, but like, no, kids pick up like Half-Life from time to time because they see like a funny video about it, or like Half-Life, like, honestly, it comes and goes in the YouTube algorithm just because like somebody will do something cool with it, and then like that's a whole new generation of people that get into, or like Metal Gear Rising does that too.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I guess
the thing that's combating the apathy in my eyes is that, and I saw this, there was like a prolific drama person who always has like shit takes about games. Like they were defending Halo Infinite, to give you an idea of like where their Halo takes are. And even they like had an example of like how they had been affected by this type of thing. So in my eyes, like, no, I don't think it's, I mean, yes, people are apathetic. I think that's just apathy in general. But I do think that like there's opportunity because it's now personally affected more people than it did back when Ross was like trying to get letters sent to EA in 2016.
Yeah, I remember those days. I remember Battleforge. I remember Need for Speed World, Darkspore. Yeah, I do feel though there is a little bit of that from consumers who are starting to see games more as a service. And I mean, I'm an example of someone who, you know, is younger but who is able to go back and play old games and is able to get immersed in those old games. Like Half-Life is, I mean, age drop. Half-Life is older than I am, and I'm able to. It's one of my favorite FPS games ever made. Like it's not an impossible feat. I also think that people like us severely underestimate just how big of an audience there is out there of people who will just only play just Call of Duty or just the latest.
It's not that I underestimate.
Just the latest live service game.
It's that I literally don't think about those people.
And you're right to do that.
Yeah, I mean, like you're like saying like, oh yeah, there's a ton of people that like buy PS5s to play like GTA 6, and it's like, so in my eyes, like those people never mattered. So as long as you still have that like original core of people who cared, you know, 10, 15 years ago, like that number, if that hasn't changed or if that's grown, then that matters more than like, oh well, the market cap of gaming, blah blah blah.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. I do think just it is important to recognize that, though, at the very least, to see like, okay, this community, the gaming community, it's not a community, but this like market, this industry that we're in, like when you know companies are making these products, when companies are putting these products out, they're very acutely aware of these people. And I mean, if anything, those are the demographics.
I think you're implying a level of intelligence in the AAA market that does not work anymore in 2025. I seem to recall $500 million being spent on Halo Infinite. And what's its player count at right now?
I think it's at. I think it was us. I think we were the only people playing it. But I mean, when it comes to making money and running over to the next town, I mean, companies are pretty good at that. That seems to be the only thing they know how to do nowadays.
Oh, absolutely. But that's the gaming crash that you guys were asking for. That's what that actually looks like, is just AAA kind of slowly dying. Sorry, did you think that it was going to be like dramatic headlines, people jumping out of buildings? No.
I was kind of hoping, but I do think, I mean, on the topic of AAA games just being too expensive, I do think that's where all this it really is stemming from. I think it's games are just too expensive. They're taking too long to make. And when I say there's too many people making them, there's too many people working on a game. There are too many people working on GTA 6. Like, you have thousands of programmers and designers and what have you.
Yeah, I want to say like Red Dead Redemption 2 might be the only and last game that had a studio of that scale that wasn't an absolute clusterfuck to play.
Yeah.
Because obviously we have like in our space we have our Halo Infinites and our Starfields of examples of.
Are you implying those games aren't perfect?
Games preservation. I feel like games preservation is kind of it comes and goes in terms of like stop killing games discourse. Obviously, as like SKG kind of hit it like a mainstream for a bit, you had people who agreed with it but didn't necessarily understand where it came from in terms of games preservation.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. Because games preservation, like, again, everyone has their own kind of interpretation of what it means to preserve a game. And, I mean, there just as many people who support the initiative are also against it for those similar reasons. Because when you say we don't want a game to die, what's the go-to argument? We all know it. We all know what everyone immediately goes to. What, you want a company to preserve a game forever? You want them to keep running those servers forever? And the answer is yes, we do. We want to chain them to a server rack.
We're putting
going to whip them until they
keep
the server running.
Bleed them dry.
Plug their brain in.
Until it's so unprofitable that nobody makes a multiplayer game again.
Last time we showed the Warhammer Servitor. This time it's the Metal Gear Rising scene where all the brains are in the jars and there's like thousands of them, and all their eyes look at Raiden. Like that's going to be gaming executives in 10 years.
So this jar over here, this is EA. That one's Activision.
These are the Concord servers being hosted on Bobby Kotick's brain.
This is Don Matrick. We just think it's funny. Yeah, games preservation. It's such a weird thing because people just like go back and forth on like. As I noticed when doing my video, is there's like so many like mini battles within it. The one that always comes to mind for me is the physical versus digital debate.
Mine is always mine is always people turning it into like a piracy thing. This happens especially with like the Nintendo stuff. Because
we had that just happened recently. Nintendo started like going after people who were promoting ROMs and stuff, and it's like these are games that some of them were ROM hacks first off. So it's like those are like basically like custom games built in them. But then also they were talking about like games that are abandonware, basically like you cannot buy these games physical anywhere, and it's just like, okay, well, how do we play these games then except for ROMs? They're not on any digital storefronts or anything like that. There's no way aside from these ROMs to play these games. So
but have you thought about paying $80 for Super Mario Kart?
Yeah.
Is this the time to talk about planned obsolescence? I've had two people comment that I don't know what planned obsolescence is, and both times I looked it up and I was like, that's exactly what I thought it meant and what I was implying when I said that like Stop Killing Games is against planned obsolescence.
Yeah.
There might be maybe I just forgot. Maybe there's a quote of Ross saying that it's not about that, but to me it's like I don't see a difference between EA making a game that is intended to die at some unknown future date and like my Dell XPS 13 turning into a fucking water balloon partway through my bike trip because they happen to be made with batteries that expire like 10 days after the warranty ends.
Ooh,
just coincidentally, like universally across all like versions of that particular model, that was a prolific issue. So,
and it's not even like crazy to say that game publishers would be working in the forced obsolescence angle because like first off, we've been seeing it in tech for decades now. Apple is notorious for this sort of practice. But also you see it like even in the fucking like auto industry. There are cars that they make the cars so complex that like oh, your fuel pump broke, we gotta disassemble your entire fucking engine in order to get there. And it's like that it's gonna cost thousands and thousands of dollars to change a like $100 part. Or you could just throw the car out and buy a new one. And it's like you see that everywhere. So it's like, is it really far-fetched to say that that's the mentality of these boardroom publishers and stuff?
Are you implying that our benevolent corporate overlords are trying to screw us over? Don't you know that Stop Killing Games is taking away consumer rights?
Ah. That's interesting. Well, it's interesting. I'm seeing like a lot of these discussions, like there's just like a lot of discourse recently about consumer rights, and specifically like if you buy something, how much ownership do you actually have with it? You know, like I've been seeing issues with mods, right? Video game mods and stuff, and it gets really interesting because you have the modders, the people who are installing mods, saying, you know, I have this game, I want to be able to do whatever I want with it. And some of the developers are like, yeah, that's cool. And then other developers are like, no, absolutely not. But then you also have issues where like the mod authors themselves are like, oh, I'm cool with people modifying my mods. And then other mod authors are like, I'm not cool with it. And it's just like, there's a lot of different discussions going on, like just related to this sort of thing. Right to repair is another thing and stuff. So I feel like Stop Killing Games is just another, it's just another conversation in this greater discourse that is like, if you buy something, how much do you really own of it?
Which is why it's funny that I get comments that are like, you think that this actually matters? And it's like, yes.
Yes, because this is just mirroring so many other discussions we've been having.
This doesn't just
now.
affect my entertainment or my job. Like, I used to be on like the Adobe platform in that software ecosystem, and it's the notion that this could solidify the rights in terms of like software ownership, like, you know, production software. Well, that's a pretty big thing. Not necessarily Adobe. I think that's kind of
they're a lost cause.
That's
at
a
this
sinking
point.
ship, but.
And their programs aren't even like up to snuff as they once were because of that. Because they drove so many people away with their subscriptions, opening them up to competition from so many others, like developers and stuff. You know, DaVinci Resolve is a great example. It's a free software for like basically the whole thing. And if you do choose to pay for it, it's a one-time purchase, and that's it. You own it for life. And they were able to basically supplant, what is Premiere?
Premiere Pro.
Yeah, like I learned off of Premiere Pro, and I switched to DaVinci Resolve, and it's like I haven't looked back, and I don't have to pay for shit. Like I bought the studio version, and that's it. Because I wasn't going to pay for fucking Premiere Pro once it started going subscription based.
And ironically, Premiere was the reason I was on Windows 10. So like now that I'm out of that ecosystem and have been for a bit, I'm like no longer shackled to Windows.
And like I feel like this does go back to what I said earlier about like the efficacy of the Stop Killing Games movement and stuff. And it's like, even if it dies in litigation, right? Like the lobbyists win, or nobody can agree with what the law is going to look like, and just whatever. I still feel like Ross has already achieved a lot with just getting this discourse out there, raising this amount of awareness and stuff, because it's a marketing point now. Developers can come out and be like, hey, you know, we have an end-of-life plan for our game. You can play it for, you know, in 15, 20 years. You can get invested into this.
I was thinking, like, it'd be fun to, like, anytime you review a live service game, to, like, coordinate a call to action to just get a bunch of messages sent all at once asking, what's the end-of-life plan for this live service game?
I'm very tempted to look into that with Dune Awakening, because, like, I've been playing a lot of that lately, and there's just this constant like gnawing anxiety inside me where it's like,
is this going to be a thing?
Yeah, is this game going to exist in like 5 years or so? Because I sure would like to play it, you know, in like 5, 10, 15 years, because it's a really good game and there's a lot of really good stuff in it.
Yeah, so do we want to go over like how live service games have affected stuff that we like?
Absolutely, yeah.
I think a good example, like a really good example, is Destiny 2, with where they started vaulting content, specifically like the first campaign, it gets even more insane. So not only did they vault that stuff, they also lost that content. It no longer exists.
Oh, Butterfingers.
At least
we dropped it, you guys.
It's like,
hey, we make billions of dollars, but we don't know what version control is.
They were in a lawsuit, and they had to prove something related to, like, they're being accused of plagiarism with their original campaign, which makes you wonder like why they sunsetted it to begin with. But anyways,
how weird.
They could not show like stuff from the game. They could not use examples from the game. They had to use YouTubers like videos and stuff in the court, and the judge said this does not qualify. You cannot use other people's recordings to prove like, and they're like, well, we don't have the files anymore. Like it's not playable. It's not in the game anymore. And it's like, what a perfect example of like why this
type of regulation is necessary, because when you have clown shows like modern Bungie, they need to be guided by like the rails of like they need to be able to bump up against like a regulator and like go, okay, we got to get our act together just slightly, because like now it's in the corporation's best interest, because they can't defend themselves in this case because they didn't do this necessary version control that they would have if that they were working around the consideration of end of life.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean,
it's just a perfect example.
Not to turn into LARP 8 where we listed like 5 billion weird edge cases. Like, oh, does Stop Killing Games cover DLC?
Yeah. No, it was just such a perfect example of like everything that's wrong with the industry's current trends of just like this. We don't give a shit about this, and that was like Bungie, and that was like a large like campaign and stuff. It had a lot of coverage. People played it a ton. And it's like, so imagine smaller games or like like mobile games or something like that, things where the value of the art there is even less appreciated. And it's just like
mobile gaming is just like that's an insane thing, because you'll look at like you'll ask like, or I'll ask, okay, I won't assume you, I'll ask like, hey, what's modern Star Trek game adaptations like? Like, what's the most recent game adaptation? I'm like, oh, there was a game in like 2024. What, like, how did I do? Oh, there's like 30 fucking Star Trek mobile games.
I mean, that's
that are polluting the list.
That's a black hole of a market right there.
Well, I mean, people are complaining that there hasn't been a TES game since Skyrim, and it's like, actually,
there's been 3.
There's Blades. There's Legends too.
Blades, Legends, ESO, and Castles. So 4.
Yeah. Oh, 4. Yeah. 4. There you go.
Mobile gaming is a really good showcase of just, this is where the entire industry is headed. Or like this is how bad things can get. I always think of Angry Birds, original Angry Birds. Sold well, people liked it. Then they added spin-off after spin-off, weird movie tie-ins, and then they removed the original and they brought it back, but with like a weird pay-to-win, pay-to-play version. And it's, I mean, if you want to see what happens when there is zero sense of preservation, like that is the mobile games industry. As it is right now, like PC and consoles, we still have a bit of a grip. Like we still are able to hold on to some of that, but like, don't make no mistake, like every company eyes those mobile game companies like,
oh yeah,
oh no, that's
envy.
That's legit what I said. Like, they would charge you $200 for a game that breaks after a year.
Yeah, I mean that's arguably where like a lot of that valuation for the Activision purchase was in the mobile games division.
Yeah, was Activision Blizzard King. Like,
King, yeah. People don't talk about that. That was what Microsoft was trying to get.
Yeah, like that's
and also I guess World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
It's been a bit of a downtick since that whole lawsuit thing. And what else are we looking at? Overwatch 2?
The Cosby Suite.
Okay, so that was like the one part of the video where I had to get an optics check.
The only thing putting me to sleep is this game. I mean, if we're on the topic of Mr. Mark Kern, I mean, going into games that die that can no longer be be played. Hey, I'll say it. I didn't hate Firefall. I'm that guy. But it's weird to just go back and think of like all the games that are for like just locked away, like, and are now you can, and obviously everyone says, oh, fans will be able to revive this. It's like, maybe, like, if they're lucky.
And that's also like the issue that like Bethesda games run up against. Like, you are assuming a lot of work. You're putting a lot of like emotional labor on somebody else to do this thing for you out of your convenience, when we could have just had a regulation the entire time that prevented the problem from the first place. Yeah, the one thing I forgot to mention in the pirate video was that he takes a very libertarian stance as like his motivation. Like, we can't give the government power, but there is a thing where he was like advocating for China to regulate like some gacha game because it was like manipulative or greedy.
Well, then, I mean, it doesn't make much sense when he's also like ragging on Ross. Like, Ross is only treating politicians like they're only searching for easy wins.
Yeah,
they are.
Yeah,
they're politicians.
Well, that was the joke I made. Was like, I'm sure Nancy Pelosi's crying herself to sleep on her bed of money.
She's just really good at trading stocks.
Really
like,
disrespected.
Just get off her back.
The lawmaking process. Yeah, like, it's so weird that this is a clash of we should preserve art, but also we shouldn't give the government more power. And it's like, I understand, trust me, I'm more than aware of like government overreach. As somebody who lived on the West Coast, I'm more than aware of like how dangerous it is to give the government more power, but you got to give them some power in terms of basic stuff that everybody wants anyways. It's kind of just like it is just like basically societal collective bargaining, because sure, you can say, oh, it's on you to read the fine print. You should have known that this game was going to die before you even played it. You should have read the in-user license agreement and done all the research and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, or we could just band together as a society and regulate it. It's not that bad a thing. I've yet to hear a concrete example of like what this doomsday scenario where the government's going mad with power when it comes to video games.
I don't really understand that counter argument, because it's like, can it really get any worse than it is already? Like, what is the government going to kill more games? Like, is that the concern?
Yeah, the government's going to come in and say, actually, you guys that aren't live services, you need to be killing your games too.
Yeah, like, I don't I don't understand. Like, is the concern like, oh, they might levy like really harsh fines against EA and stuff? It's like,
okay,
yes, please.
Well, and it's like, what? Okay, you can't bitch about like the payment processors thing, because that's the corporations fucking them over and saying, we don't have a check, we don't have any kind of balance that says that we can't do this, so we're just going to impose our will on the situation. And it's like, gee, sure would have been nice if there was some type of regulation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's been a very convenient thing to have happened, is seeing payment processors. And for the record,
I'm out of the loop on that. Can you explain it?
Yeah, I'm not the most knowledgeable person. I have been following this topic for probably 10 years. This has been going on forever. The idea of payment processors debanking people, individuals. And they've been threatening to do it with games for a long time. I don't think this is the first time games have been fully threatened by it, but this is the first time like big changes have been made.
As I understand, it was like big in Japan that this was going on.
It was big in Japan. That's definitely where it started. There were a few Japanese politicians that I was following who were tweeting about it, were talking about it, trying to fight back against it. And I mean, it's finally over here.
It's a crazy gambit to say we're going to go up against Valve. Like,
but I mean, if you think about it, like,
they're bigger, but like, you think that there isn't going to be a payment processor out there that's not salivating at the notion of like capturing that market?
the problem is, and you're treating these payment processors like companies. You're treating them like, oh, you can just go to another one. When you start getting debanked, there is nowhere to turn to. There is, I mean,
it's sure if you're Alex Jones, but like if you're Valve and you make like billions upon billions of billions, like they're the single largest gaming storefront on the planet for the largest entertainment medium in existence. Like
they need to get that money from the US dollar, which these banking services, these payment processors, like, who else are you going to go to?
Somebody's going to do it, and if not, then like Gabe Newell's going to sell one of his yachts and do it himself. Like,
Gabe Newell really, to me, feels a bit like the Emperor of Mankind. Like, if when he leaves the industry, it's all of warp travel is going to be destroyed. We're not going to be able to contact each other anymore. We're going to lose the warp. Like that is going to be the end of a lot of stuff. This whole debanking thing, like, as always, we warned people when they were coming for games they thought were either too edgy, too not safe for work.
But see, they were going after the perverts, so the moral prudes.
They're going after
the moral
the
prudes
waifu games.
Supported it.
I mean, it is a very, very well-timed thing to have as we're advocating for why you should be able to own games that are removed and destroyed. Like, oh, here's why. Like, this right here. Like, this might not be the exact reason, but this is a reason.
No, see, this would all be satisfied if there was just a box on Steam that said that this game's gonna die. If there was a tiny little box on that little blurb that says like online / couch co-op and requires third-party account. That little box that no one ever reads. If that said this game could die, it would all be solved. This is just a clerical issue.
It would be funny to see, like, okay, you have to put an exact date for when you're going to kill this game. It's like...
Or you have to say, like, this is a subscription. Because that was the...
Yeah, the subscription, yeah.
That was one of the hypotheticals that people were, like, anti-SKG people that weren't Pirate Software were posting, like, oh, well, if World of Warcraft gets the pass, then every game's just going to become a subscription. And it's like, I'd like to see that. I want to see a world where like Black Ops 7 and GTA 6 are both like listed as subscriptions on the store page.
Good luck. Good luck.
Because that worked really well with streaming services. Oh wait.
No, see, GTA 6 is going to be this monolithic thing that can do whatever it wants, and it's going to change gaming because of it. So like it'll be $100 for the base version, which means that everybody will finally be able to raise their prices. And then I'm so glad I got to put that Larian quote in there of the like Larian publisher saying, yeah, that the quiet part is that like we're waiting for GTA 6 to do it so we can raise our prices. I was like, that's your based Larian guy saying that. What do you think like is going on at Microsoft?
Yeah.
I think it's probably going to be $80 or $90.
I think
I don't think I think honest to God,
I think they'll go for Big Benjamin.
I think they'll do $80 and people will like have a sigh of relief, like, oh, thank God it's vaguely within sight of where it used to be. Honest to God, I think that's what their plan is.
They gotta slow boil that.
$90 pre-order.
It's GTA 6.
$90 for the special edition.
People are going to be buying PS5s to play it. You think they're not going to like know that they could charge whatever they want to?
I mean, GTA 6 might be able to get away with it. I don't think anybody else can.
No, but but
you think Elder Scrolls 6?
I think that'll get away with it. I think that'll drag the average up. I think that like if GTA 6 was $100, everybody's going to like 80 or 90 overnight. Like 80 will be the new standard, and then like there will be like EA will be doing 90. Like I think EA is always like
they can't even sell me on their games at 60 right now.
I know.
Good fucking luck getting me to pay 90. Get the
pay
fuck
$90 for Anthem.
Yeah.
But see, listen. They insert during COVID. They inserted $4 trillion into the economy.
I thought you were going to say they're going to activate the 5G in my brain.
That would be a fun way to take it. It's kind of a complicated thing because I do understand the like game price increase argument, and
Yeah.
I've stated before that I have like conditions where I would agree to it, but those conditions haven't been met. So
Well, that's the thing, is like, if you want me to pay for it, you need to give me something that I'm actually willing to pay for. Like I said, you guys haven't even made something that I want to pay $60 for.
right.
So...
Yeah, you guys made fucking you guys made the Outer Worlds and Avowed, and now you're gonna charge $80 for the Outer Worlds too, for a game that I'm telling you nobody wants.
You know what's funny?
No
is
one
like,
wanted the first one, yeah.
it's the games that are charging me like $30, $40, and $50, where I'm like, man, these guys could have charged me like $80 and I would have gladly paid for that.
Yeah, I say that about like Minecraft. It's like that game
Oh,
has been
yeah.
that game has been such a value
my
purchase at like
God.
$20 that like
Oh my god. Yeah, no, I got it when it was 10. And it's like thousands of hours out of that game.
so I'm just gonna put this out there. The Outer Worlds 1 sold 5 million copies. I think it was 5 million. I will double check.
That's way more than I would have
Than you
guessed
would have
for
expect.
Outer Worlds 1. Yeah.
Yeah, so the Outer Worlds 1 consistently...
Was it on like Humble Bundle or something?
Consistently. Yeah, Outer Worlds 1, 5 million. That is like consistently above every like modern Bethesda and Microsoft release.
Is that really?
Yeah, so...
What's when you say release, I guess elaborate more.
So the way that Microsoft does it is they don't release sales figures anymore. They release player counts, right? So Starfield had 15 million players. But we know that
Also
it
Game
sold
Pass.
less than Mortal Kombat. And we do know how many copies Mortal Kombat sold in like specific markets. So it's been extrapolated that like Starfield was about 4 million copies sold. Indiana Jones was 4 million players.
Oh,
It's been
God.
extrapolated
Ooh.
that was like 1 million sales.
If that.
If
So
that.
that's all
And
Game Pass then.
And then we have
Yeah.
Avowed. We don't. We don't even.
Dear.
We don't even have to speculate on that one, right?
I think you're the one person who played that game.
Yeah, and I stand by it. Like, it's not a great game, but
But you
will-
hated it because it was woke.
No. I was. It's bad and woke. No, I was.
okay.
I got in trouble because I was defending it from like reactionaries.
So you're saying that it was woke,
But
and
good.
it also was broke. That's what you're saying.
I definitely was saying that it was broke. It is funny that I can like say that like, yeah, this game sucks and it was totally failed by Microsoft, and people somehow interpret that as like a positive video. I did say it was a positive. I do consider it like one of my more positive videos, but like that was mostly because like I was just saying like this isn't the worst shit ever. By the way, every
Yeah.
LARP now is going to be me bringing up Avowed and the Avowed situation.
We should just rename this to the Avowed
The
podcast.
Avowed podcast. They need to call. I'm putting this out there for free. They need to call the sequel Disavowed.
Oh, that's really good. That's ingenious. Yeah, they should hire you. Just as the names guy.
Yeah.
No, I think because they never put Pillars of Eternity, because the game, it takes place in the Pillars of Eternity universe, they should just call the next game Pillars of Eternity subtitle.
Right.
And it's like, there's your Avowed 2.
I don't think we're getting an Avowed 2.
I don't think so. I don't.
Just floating
dude,
that out there.
Dude,
They're not going to sell it.
I
for
don't know if
$80.
Obsidian's even gonna fucking survive till next year. So
Every Obsidian release, everyone says, there's no way Obsidian's going to survive till the next one. They somehow keep on surviving.
well, the problem
Like
is that now
cockroaches.
they're owned by Microsoft, who like they just laid off a whole bunch of people at ZeniMax and stuff.
Also, you know that they're releasing 3 games this year.
Yeah.
And they're all going to be hits. Just trust the plan, you guys.
Yeah, we're batting.
What are the other two?
Well, they released Grounded 2, which
Oh my
apparently
God, I forgot
is
about that.
doing well. Apparently, it's doing pretty well.
I think that's what carries them. Because I think Grounded 1 did well too.
Yes, yeah.
then, like-
Grounded 1 was like a kind of like a cult classic sort of.
I played that.
You know.
Guys,
Yeah.
we got to buy Outer Worlds 2, where Microsoft's gonna turn Obsidian into like a just a Fallout farm.
That would be, man. What an end to
that's
that company.
That's the theory that's been floated around, is that we're getting a New Vegas 2, and it's going to be, because that's all under that umbrella now. But it's it's going to be shit. I know that it was just confirmed like 2 days ago that season 2 of the Fallout show is going to be in New Vegas. So
Yeah.
I saw
we got
that.
content on the horizon.
Yeah.
It's thing,
Mm-hmm.
They're not making New Vegas too. We know that.
No, they'll make New Vegas 2. They have to.
New
what
Vegas.
else are you going to do with the Obsidian brand at this point?
When you see New Vegas 2, it's like this is it. This is their marathon.
Things are this bad, yeah.
I remember there were rumors that like Fallout 5 is coming soon, like is going to be made concurrently with Elder Scrolls 6 instead of after.
Yeah. Yeah.
So is the rumor like that's why they need Obsidian, or that's what Obsidian's going to be working on?
Actually, so the rumor was that they gutted ZeniMax and killed their MMO that was like very close to being finished, and even Phil Spencer loved it so much that they had to like pull the controller out of his hand when he was playing it at a demo.
It seems like every time Phil Spencer likes something, Microsoft ends up killing it. It's very strange.
So yeah, so the idea is the rumor was that they did that to then divert resources to Bethesda, who are working on TES 6 and Fallout 5, which just entered pre-production pretty much, and they're going to be developing it concurrently.
It would be interesting if they went in the angle that I've been advocating for years, which is they got to split the company up. Because then you got the thing of like the team size goes back down, so they'll be more functional allegedly. Obviously, leadership is going to determine how that is going to pan out, but you just got to put Emil in charge of Fallout 5. Don't let him do Elder Scrolls 6, but it's probably too late.
Whatever you do, keep him away from Elder Scrolls.
I'm sorry, it's been almost 2 years.
He'll come to do the Dark Brotherhood, and but let him go back to Fallout. So an idea I had for AAA game pricing. Okay, $100, but guaranteed 2 expansions. And like imagine it's like you're buying like the deluxe edition of a game, except there are no other versions. So it's just a deluxe edition.
So Starfield.
Not necessarily.
But listen, we got Shattered Space, and they gave you $10 in Bethesda bucks.
But they sold Starfield.
That's a Watchtower DLC.
They sold Starfield individually. No, I'm saying like.
You
don't.
Oh, that's built in. The only
version. Yeah, it's built in. It's built into the price. So it's like guaranteed. It's guaranteed revenue on their end.
So essentially, you're preventing people from just purchasing the standard edition.
But
yes. But
I think that's a big ask.
Honestly, I absolutely can see EA doing something like that. I can visualize that. You know how they release those charts of like, if you get this version of the game or this version or this version, I can visualize that, but everything under $100 is like just grayed out.
The Ubisoft chart.
God, that's pretty ingenious. Yeah.
I think
Private, you should work at EA.
Well, I think this would actually work if you actually have some degree of trust and goodwill with your audience.
So what happens when you have an Avowed that like just completely bombs, and then like they're stuck making those 2 expansion packs?
You're obligated to make those. That's when the business model.
You're advocating
falls apart,
for You're advocating for more shattered shits, you know.
I mean, you'd be able to judge that. Like, they could not have been looking at those pre-sale numbers and being like, "Oh, this is going to be a hit." Like, I feel like
it's going to be a sleeper hit. It was going to take off in the early access period.
Yeah.
Well, if reactionary grifters like Patrician didn't call it woke, maybe it would have sold better.
I think you misunderstood. That was my woke heel turn.
Didn't they hate you in the Avowed subreddit? Weren't they complaining?
Oh no, I was hated by everybody. The Avowed people hated me because I said the character models are ugly, but I was also saying that the game's not that woke, and so the reactionaries also hated me.
we're used to it in these parts.
But see, my thing is, the problem with Starfield was that Shattered Space was obligated, and so Bethesda wasted time making that DLC, which it's kind of ironic because I'm gonna level with you. That DLC is kind of doing some stuff that I asked for.
Yes, with several monkey paws at the same time.
Yeah. But it's a weird like step in the right direction. Unfortunately, it's not going to go anywhere because Bethesda.
Yeah, one, it's not going to go anywheres, and two, it was just like too little, too late.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, so like I said, this concept would only work if you actually have any sort of goodwill with your audience and stuff, and people will, because there's so many ways you can abuse this, right? Like, okay, we're just going to cut out like the last 2/3 of the game and just say that's the expansions, or like, you know, just build a game like that.
Or they could have management that isn't locals and can actually run a studio that and. So I guess our last point that I have on here is that there's a stigma around gaming as an art form.
Yeah. And this kind of ties into what I was saying earlier. People just don't see games as art. It really still exists. It feels like you have to argue and push for why video games need to be preserved. Like when you say we need to preserve books and movies or paintings, everyone understands. It's like no one questions that. It's yeah, obviously.
See, you should have listened during Gamergate when they said that gamers are dead, because that was an optics check saying that we're never going to be taken seriously if we call them games. We need to call them experiences.
We have to call them experiences.
Yes. How does it make you feel? Did you write an essay in college about this?
That stigma just still exists, though, and because I often find, like, when games are advocated as an art form, I'm sure you guys see this all the time as well. It's always like, here's why games are art. Here's a clip of Last of Us, or here's a clip of whatever, Gone Home, or whatever indie walking sim. It's always it's always an asterisk. It's always like some journalist or some essayist kind of like seeding ground saying like, okay, maybe some games aren't art, but here's some games that do constitute as art.
To me, that just is the insecurity of those individuals who feel that they need to be validated in terms of like what they're into. It's just like they're the same type of people in film who'd be like, oh no, I would never watch the Avengers.
Okay, so it's funny you bring that up, because we're talking about this and all I'm thinking in the back of my head right now is the VGAs and all the other examples of, you know, like shows and stuff like that, like for trying to put video games on a pedestal, right? And be like, you know, like, we're the Emmys of the video game industry. And it's just like,
look, we got
then you actually
Timothy
watch
Chalamet
the VGAs.
at the VGAs.
Then you actually watch the VGAs, and it is a fucking clown show. Honestly, I really, really don't blame like actors and stuff like that turning their noses up. Like when Harrison Ford came out on stage at the VGAs last year, and we were just making the joke that like, oh, he's just getting a paycheck for this thing. Like dude barely even knows where he is right now. And it's just like, yeah, it's like the show is a fucking joke.
I'll say, as an art form, I think the show peaked when they made the very artistic decision to have a kid run up on stage and shout about Bill Clinton.
That was a good bit.
I looked at that.
Jeff, I will admit that was a good bit.
Like, Jeff Keighley, you still got it.
I kind of get what you're getting at, which is that it's hard to be taken seriously as a medium when our industry award show is such a shit show. And I think part of that is just there is somebody that was trying to fix this problem, and the problem is that there is a veil between game developers and gamers just don't understand how hard game development is. Okay, we should be so lucky as to have a Pirate Software out there who's trying to clear up the misconceptions that gamers have and prevent movements like Stop Killing Games from sending that discourse back to the fucking Stone Age.
It all comes full circle.
It all comes full circle, baby.
The Ouroboros has finally revealed itself.
The nice thing is that as a topic shift, we don't have to be like, does anybody else have any final thoughts? Because you could just bring up your Stop Killing Game thoughts when we talk about Pirate Software, because it's all linked.
Yeah. I feel like... So, there's another movement that's going on right now, and it's that content creators we should have our own awards ceremonies and stuff. There's one that's put on every year called I think it's the Streamies, and it's put on by it's basically just like a bunch of Twitch streamers getting together and circle jerking. It's super fucking cringe, but it has the exact same energy as the VGAs of like these people just trying really hard to make this something, and it's just like, how about you just focus on making good stuff, and then let that appreciation build on its own. Let people actually appreciate your efforts and stuff. It takes time. It really does.
And maybe
it takes time, and it takes people like actually sitting there. First off, okay, so with the streamers and stuff, the problem is that they make slop content. Okay.
I was gonna say that we gotta start with the conversation of, can we fix the content diarrhea problem over there?
But it's like it's a perfect analogy to video games, right? It's like, okay, if we want video games to start being taken seriously as an art form and stuff, well, we need developers to stop making shit games that they then try to fucking sweep under the rug, like Anthem and things like that. Like, Anthem is a game that they want you to forget.
Dude, fucking Alan Wake 2. Alan Wake 2 is always what I'm gonna post to, because it's like they're fucking at the VGAs in 2023 jerking off like Alan Wake 2, and then like the next thing is like Sam Lake saying, listen, sometimes we're making games for the art. That's why we only sold less than 2 million copies of this game that we paid like 10 quadrillion of your investor dollars to get advertised at the VGAs. And then like his entire Twitter is just him like fucking posting selfies, and he draws pictures of himself. Like, I listen, I know nothing about Alan Wake, but I understand why people kind of follow that clown show, because that guy's just annoying, but he's the face of like, this is where game developers need to go. They need to be more like Sam Lake, and it's like,
yeah, they need to Alan wake up. I mean, kind of arguing, maybe arguing against your point, Private. Like, couldn't the same argument, like if you say games aren't treated as an art form because they're slop, can't you make that same argument about everything else? Like movies, can't you say, like, when people do talk about
people say that all movies now are like cape shit.
Yeah.
When you talk about like the artistic merits of movies, it's like, just look at Marvel, look at Warner Brothers, look at what these companies are just.
It's the woke.
But that's the thing, though, is people still it's still heavily respected as an art form, and we're talking about, I mean, quite frankly, an industry that is literally like slowly ceasing to exist. Like I can't see a movie theater in the town I grew up in. Like, one doesn't exist anymore. It's like. It's a thing that's slowly dying away, and yet there's no question that it's an artistic medium.
I think they had a lot of legacy that gaming just doesn't have.
Exactly. Gaming is still new. It's still Pac-Man.
Gaming had a in the gaming discourse, people won't even agree that like we had a golden age and it ended like in 2007.
I think gaming's had multiple golden ages. But I find the artistic merits of video games to be very interesting. There's an argument that I had, as all great philosophers argue, it happened on Twitter, and this was years and years ago, but it still is in my head. It still lives in my head rent-free. And I just remember arguing back and forth with the guy about the artistic merits of a game, and he kind of just bluntly said, like, so what, you think games are artistic because of their gameplay, because of their level design, because of that they're fun to play? And I've had a lot of time to think about that, and it's like, yeah, like I find there is artistic merit to aspects of games that most people look over. I don't see a game as only being art just because you could make it as a Netflix show, or that you could present it as like a modern art museum piece, as something like that. Like, no, like when you play a game that is interesting and unique and has all of these elements to it, like that's art. There's
well,
something there.
That's touching onto a broader art conversation, which is like art is when photorealistic painting, like that type of shit that people do, like art appreciation in general is a very complicated
voice
conversation.
acting. It's when I feel like I'm playing a movie.
But Starfield was art.
It was
art in certain ways.
Yeah, it certainly made me feel a certain way.
Starfield is probably the greatest argument for nihilism.
Yeah.
Todd Howard made a very interesting modern art exhibit. He just like, here's a grinder, here's a paper shredder, and you just throw your money into it. Wow, Todd, this is interesting.
I think a part of it is like, we just don't have, like your big game critics yet, like people who actually are able to articulate like what makes games good and stuff like that. And like,
what are you talking about? We have Angry Joe.
Yeah, exactly.
I was gonna
it's
say
like,
we have Asmongold. Like, what more are you looking for?
Our examples are like not Roger Ebert and stuff. Like,
so you're saying that the downfall of the long-form analysis and retrospectives community that this podcast is about is directly correlated with games being killed. So you're saying that when I made fun of the comment that Salt Factory left on his Skyrim Part 2 video in my Skyrim video, that I was inadvertently causing the downfall of gaming.
When you called a certain someone
I would say I would actually lay the blame on game journos. Like, that's really that's where that should have been.
Chat, he's reaching for the Gamergate button.
It's listen. It's that if you look,
you can't be mad at those people. There's only like 10 left.
If you look at other industries, like, Rolling Stones magazine and like all these, like, where they got their start and stuff was like they had people whose opinions actually meant something and weren't just owned by the publishers and the record labels and things like that. And that's how you built that sort of image of, like, that's where you get it started. That's the grassroots of like trustworthy criticism, as like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a curator. We don't have
maybe.
that. I mean, in video games. And I lay the blame largely at game journals and stuff.
I was memeing earlier about the Veil thing, but it is true. And the issue was that the game journalists chose to be on the side of the game developers instead of the gamers when it came to that Veil.
Yeah.
And it caused an inherent undermining of the credibility of games journalism, and then that entire sector just like rotted out from the inside because barely anybody wants to read that shit. So they didn't have the support they needed to keep those websites alive. And now, like, unironically, there's like 12 people left in games journalism.
Yeah, it is a dying medium. I'll say this, in university, I may or may not have taken a video game related elective. Had nothing to do with my major. It was like my last course of the year.
Okay, what year did this happen in?
This would have been probably like 20. Here's how young I am. This would have been in like right before COVID. But everything that was going on in it, and here's the thing: I wish I could remember the name of the archive. It was this giant, like, scholastic archive of like journalists giving their opinions, like writing their think pieces. There were a few famous, honestly, like there were some well-known journalists who, we now recognize today as kind of being little cows. I wish I could remember some of their names.
Jason Schreier.
But yeah, he would have been in there.
Oh, absolutely.
And you can go through and see like the interactions of all these like quote unquote great minds in this industry, and there's like none. There's no like, and when I say interactions, I mean like you'll see like how a thing is cited or how many comments there are of people, other people like commenting on or downloading this like certain report or this certain paper. And I remember being astonished as a college student looking at this and thinking like, there's less interaction here than there was on like my shitty like high school videos that I made. Like there's nobody in here. There's no interaction with this.
Yeah. I feel like it's very indicative of like the two biggest names that we have that came out of game journalism is Jeff Keighley and Jason Schreier. Jeff Keighley is a salesman, and Schreier is he's just an insider. Like that's what he's known for, is his connections. Those are your two mega minds of the industry.
I'm trying to make a deep cut to like a Gamergate era like Vox journalist or something like and I just cannot remember the name of like any of those people.
Yeah,
isn't that so funny? Like that was such a strong just era, and that's just like you can't even remember it. You can't even like think back.
Not even to like make fun of them.
It's. I mean, there's so much shit has happened since then.
Yeah,
like
they were right. It turns out.
Does anybody even remember 2019? Because I sure as shit don't.
I mean, I always think like it's funny you talk about Jason Schreier being just only known for an insider, like an insider who purposefully withholds information so he can save it for like his book, or for waiting for someone else to leak it so he can jump on the bandwagon as well. Like, oh yeah, those Activision guys are terrible. Yeah, I knew about that.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute. What?
Say
that again, Jason.
Minds.
What'd you say?
That's what. How long has video games been around? Like about 40 years or so, give or take.
Longer than that.
Well, if you ask Neil Druckmann, I think he invented it in 2013. I think that's what he said.
Mm-hmm. Well, no.
Yes.
So it started with Super Mario Brothers, and then literally nothing happened until The Last of Us.
That was a really long, just kind of boring era of only playing that game.
Of only playing Bing Wahoo.
Got it. But no, it's like this is what decades and decades of experience has been distilled down into. Is Jason Schreier and Jeff Keighley.
I remember thinking it was strange that like most of the actually credible sources when writing about video games was written by people who like had nothing to do with the industry. Like the first time that I found like a compelling academic article, it was written by like a psychologist in like 2001, and it was like explaining how like games can be fundamentally broken down into like
because they're
systemized loops. Yeah,
they don't have. They're not trying to, and I really do wonder if video games as an art form has been held back just due to the fact that like the game journalists and stuff, they were working during like, you know, the end of the days of traditional media and stuff, and the rise of new media like YouTube and everything like that. And so like the industry just kind of got fucked from both ends, where it's like they immediately had to come out and start playing the game that all the other, you know, New York Times and all of them have started to play in order to just to survive.
Just online,
just online and stuff. And it
I can already
a few minutes ago.
Listen, I can already hear the commenters saying, "Well, why would you ever take games journalists seriously?" I think what you're getting at is that there's no kind of intelligentsia when it comes to video games in terms of relations between the people who make the product and the people who consume the product, and so you have no broader cultural understanding like you do with film, where you could have somebody that's never shot a second of video in their life but understands filmmaking concepts because it's been so thoroughly communicated. Like that's the reason that film schools exist, is it's distilling all of the techniques that were learned decades upon decades ago into a simple education so that you don't have to go through that experimental process yourself of finding that stuff out the hard way.
Oh, and you also have, and it's funny that you bring up college and stuff too. You also have colleges that are like been in the shitter for, you know, decades now.
Yeah.
And especially when it comes to the arts and stuff like that. Those programs barely exist these days.
I feel,
and if they do, like in video games' cases, half of them are fucking scams.
I was going to say, I feel so bad. Money. I feel so bad for anybody who fell for a video game specific degree, because most of them were jokes, and you would have been better off with like a general like computer science or something.
And so it's like so the academic, you know, the way filmmakers learned back in the 70s and 80s and stuff like that, you know, like how like that new wave of generation of film directors and stuff, they learned a lot of that stuff in school, and they learned a lot of it from their classmates and stuff too. And it's just like, okay, well, now schools aren't even able to move that sort of retain and like or build that sort of knowledge to then give to other people and stuff, because it's just like, does school suck now? It's a place where you go to get a degree so you can, go work a job somewhere and stuff. It's not about education. It's not about accumulating knowledge and preserving that knowledge and bestowing it upon new generations.
It's critical that in film school you actually make films too, and not just like weird little game prototypes of like that are just like clones of something that already exists.
Which, I mean, like, I get. I mean, I guess
I don't
the
think they're all jokes,
complexity.
but most of them are like.
It is also like a question of
like
complexity, because like, video games take a while to produce. Even like simple cookie clicker things, it's like it's going to take a lot longer than you could just grab a camera, go outside for a weekend and shoot something. So there's a lot of things that I feel like are working against video games as an art form, but at the same time, I do think a lot of it has just been greed.
I think it's finally time to talk about the man who was championing the cause of fixing this problem.
Yes.
Until that dastardly Ross Scott came along and tried to ruin everything.
Here's the thing. People are looking at YouTubers now, and they're like, you guys are the ones... you guys are replacing game journalists.
There's nothing scarier than the phrase, you guys are the games journalists and academics.
Yeah.
And you're pointing at YouTubers.
Yeah.
You're pointing at Asmongold.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if you're pointing at me, like, I'm a clown. What are you talking about? I'm the future of gaming academics.
I made my videos when I was in high school. It's like, Jesus Christ.
No, I mean, okay. Well, see, that's the thing is, like, I think YouTubers and stuff, like, as a collective, we do need to, like, start taking ourselves more seriously and understand that, like, when my like fucking 70-year-old dad is starting to get into YouTube and everything, there's like this shit's here to stay, and I think it's time people need to just like
get
over themselves basically,
but
and taking them.
I gotta put big blocky red text in my thumbnails to get views. Like,
yeah, I have a Squarespace sponsor that I have to shout out. Where's space for that?
And so it's like, okay, so now we're seeing like why the game journalists struggled as well. It's like there is that issue of trying to find this balance between like credibility and covering games that deserve to be covered, right?
I think,
and then games that will just do well in terms of video.
I think it also has to be acknowledged that people won't openly accept being seen as liking things anymore. And so people have to be very post-ironic or meta about it. And so
I disagree.
I don't think... I think there's no sincerity online.
What, in terms of from the creators or from the viewers?
From the viewers.
I disagree. I think there's a lot of people who would
you haven't been getting the slop comments, so...
I think there's a lot of people who just wanna they just want somebody who's gonna give them no bullshit takes on like what video games, like what's good about a video game, what's bad about a video game.
Yeah, but I mean, like, when it comes to saying that I'm gonna feel passionate about something, I think that people our age and younger are very insecure about publicly displaying their emotions. And that's a broader cultural issue that is going on in the Western world.
Well, it's a cultural issue for sure, but it's also kind of just like kind of a sign of immaturity to be like really self-conscious about I like things. You can apply that to video games in general. Like, people are embarrassed about saying that they like video games and stuff, and it's just like, I don't give a shit. Like, if you're gonna judge me for playing video games, fuck it, I don't want to talk to you anyways. Like, you're just doing me the favor.
I don't know. You keep saying that. I really, and I've seen like small examples of it, of post-ironic, like not wanting to be earnest about anything, but at the same time, I know I see just as many people like fully embracing that. And obviously people aren't a collective. Like, people are different.
Everybody who disagrees with me is in a monolith of opinions that all agree with each other.
Yeah, everyone who dislikes my Halo video, they're all 343 shills being paid by 343. That's where all the money went. That's where all the $400 million went to those people.
But yeah, so like cynicism and stuff. It's again, we need to remember that the topic here, which is Mr. Pirate. It's just yeah, like you can be cynical about being a content creator and stuff like that, and just try and do shit to just get people's money, get people's views and everything like that. Or you can, not do that. And I feel like more content creators need to just focus on making good stuff rather than trying to just appeal to some audience.
But listen, YouTube is generally, like, I have found it increasingly difficult to find gaming and content that I want to watch, because everything has been, like, enshittified by the essification of everything, where I'm having to play, like, this mental game every time I see a video recommendation of, like, what type of video is this going to be? Because it's asking some kind of question, or it's making some kind of implication just by the title. And then the other red flag is guy in front of a green screen holding a microphone.
Oh, you beat me to it. With a mustache as well.
Yeah, like I'm sorry, I know that some of those guys do good work, but I can't take any of that stuff seriously. It's all like, and that's what I'm talking about with, like, the post-ironic stuff, is like, that comes from a place of sincerity, where I'm personally having to come to grips with the fact that, like, the era of YouTube that I liked, where people just called their games reviews and that was fine, that's gone.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. It's like just a weird, generously calling them video essays.
Oh no, I don't believe in that term at all.
But
I don't think there's a single
so
fucking
much.
person on this platform that actually writes an essay.
Yeah,
I would rather be openly called a second monitor content creator or second monitor slot maker.
Yes,
I will take that.
I
will take that.
Sleep aid.
Yeah,
Sleep aid.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's the way of YouTube.
I don't know. I see those, like, channels and stuff, and it's just like, okay, that's just what I don't want to make, so I'm just not going to make that sort of stuff.
Well, and that's always where I've been. That's always the way I've looked at content. It's like, I make things the way that I want to see things, and it's like, there's been a lot of small YouTubers that I follow who are like, they start growing, or they're trying to grow, and they start going over the top with their, like, editing to, like, try to broaden their appeal, and then, like, I end up having to unsubscribe from them because I just don't like their stuff anymore because of that direction they took. And it's like, I would have loved if you had just stayed the way that you were. And so that's why I approach my editing in the style that I do, because that's the type of stuff that I want to watch. I don't like extremely heavy editing that's, like, designed to, like, retain attention. My attention is retained by the topic, and so I care more about the topic than I do the style.
My intention is retained by the topic, and if my attention starts to wane, I'll just, like, skip ahead a little bit, or I'll, like, speed up. I'm rarely clicking out of the video immediately because I'm just like, oh,
I love the
my
feature that
slipped.
you can hold the mouse button on the screen to fast forward, because it means that I can, like, selectively fast forward sentences, and then that way I don't even, like, have to skip ahead and maybe miss something important. Like, I can know, like, okay, that sentence wasn't important, or stuff like that.
And also with, like, transcripts and stuff too, auto transcripts, you can just, like, pull that open and be like, all right, when do they start talking about this topic?
I do love the feature of being able to see where multiple people have clicked through. It's like, oh, look, there's the ad read right there. There's the ad read.
It's so good.
I saw, it's so funny we're talking about, like, content that could be really good, but it's just messed up because the person starts focusing on getting more views. I was disgusted. It's to the point where I'm not even gonna, like, refer to this person by name or even, like, super explain what content they made. Basically, they made, like, breakdowns, analysis of, like, a particular game that was in the public zeitgeist not too long ago. But they started going through their videos and adding stupid engagement tricks. Like, they would go out of their way to mispronounce words, or they would add, like, that stupid, like, knock in the background sound effect. And it's obviously to get engagement, to get people in the comments chat. And it's like, man,
is that my fault?
You make me it's like, man, now you make me, you've just made me regret watching every single video, any video that I've watched about you, and I'm never gonna watch your content again. I vividly know that feeling. All thanks to the YouTube algorithm. We all dance to the whims
AI
of the
can't
YouTube
kill
algorithm.
the algorithm fast enough. Because I was actually having an IRL conversation about this. That like algorithmic content curation is just going to go away because AI is like too destructive to it
Yeah.
for it to be sustained. And so the way you're going to find videos in the future is the way that people used to find websites, which is community curation. That's why I've been hosting like the video club, like trying to get that to work. Like I would love to put together a resource of like, here's all of the amazing like analysis content that was made during the like post Joseph Anderson rush that was like really good. Like here's what you're missing out on, and then like, you know, here's the new stuff that's coming out that's decent. But that's still like a work in progress of like getting that to flow kind of smoothly.
It's funny. It's like we basically have to build our own video search system around the pre-existing YouTube video search system because it's just a completely unusable.
Stop edging me. I want to talk about Pirate Software.
We'll talk on the topic of exploiting the YouTube algorithm.
Mm.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Shorts.
He's the Mr. Rogers of video games.
The Mr. Rogers. Listen, he didn't call himself that. He called himself the Bob Ross.
Oh, that's even worse.
Oh my god.
And it's like, and my point wasn't that he called himself the Mr. Rogers. It's that other people called him that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I made an hour-long video about Pirate Software in the form of a Halo machinima.
Your thumbnail was super clickbaity.
Yeah,
I'm unsubscribing.
What's funny
bad.
is that I read like 2,000 of the comments and nobody said anything about the thumbnail. Like unironically, nobody is like. I think people have given up on bitching about thumbnails. People used to like.
I think so. Yeah.
You used to like, if you did like a clickbaity thumbnail, you used to like get like. I think the Fallout 76 video, for example, the first one had kind of a clickbaity thumbnail, and it was like, I got shit for that. And then like a couple years later, people don't care that it's like big red text. Stop
At least
killing
he's not
games.
using AI. At least
Yeah,
he's
they're like,
still-
Yeah.
It's the bar has gotten so low at this point. And it's also just like the ubiquity of it. Everybody sees it and it's just they expect it now. Like
Well,
you know, it's just what you have to do to survive in this game, right?
yeah.
It's
The
just
funny
make
thing was
big
that they
clickbaity
were
thumbnail.
the thumbnails were references. There's the Stop Killing Games one where I censored the I, and that's making fun of like the TikTok inspired like self-censoring stuff that they do, where it's like, oh, you can't put the word killing in a YouTube thumbnail. The algorithm will read that and recommend it less. And it's like, do you really believe that? I could buy that for like if it said suicide, but you really think that like Stop Killing Games, like that's the reason that thumbnail's not going to do well? And then the other one was It Is Over, because like there was that.
I love that. That's my favorite.
There was that guy that made like 20 videos that they all had like a It's Over thumbnail.
It's over. He's done. He's finished.
Yeah.
So over.
It got worse.
What's funny is that guy Quinthia was like doing firsthand journalism with those videos, so it's like kind of ironic that it was very like slop baity, and it was almost like bait for comment engagement of like, bro, I can't believe you're making slop, and it's like, this isn't slop, but because he was doing firsthand journalism, and then, you know, I think that's the weird discourse surrounding the Pirate Software video I made, was people saying that it was slop, and it's like, I don't know, I think there's more effort in that video than like most of the stuff I usually make.
Well, yeah, that's what you told me when you first pitched the video idea. You're just like, yeah, but I want to do it in machinima because like I want to actually put effort into this.
Yeah, so I didn't know what to make. The
I don't
visuals,
want this to be a slop video.
Yeah, because when I don't have like gameplay that I can put on the screen, I really struggle to like make a compelling video.
Yeah.
Because that's just not a style that I've established for myself. Like,
Well, just you got to pull out the green screen, grow out that mustache, and grab a microphone.
I'm already
Yeah.
in front of a green screen. But yeah, is that video slop? I think the problem is that obviously that term's pretty nebulous. It's like, you're talking about Pirate Software, so this is slop.
Yeah, I mean, we're all basically stuck making slop when we talk about him.
But it's like, so the term is getting overused to the point that like I think people are gonna like drop it, like in the coming months, just because like this is comment slop, this is posted slop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite's been friend slop.
I think that was
just
like
funny.
I was hoping that was going to be the turning point for the term. Like, we're going to call this genre friend slop. It's like, okay, it's too mainstream.
Wait,
Friends,
what?
yeah. Friend slop represents games. Typically, it's like 4-player co-op games. The ones that come out like the ones that came out after Lethal Company. I would go so far as to say like you can go back to like Phasmophobia, like that is friend. Man, that is.
I've always called that
friend
stuff like
slop
streamer bait.
Streamer bait. Yeah.
I've called it flavor of the month. Like it really just is.
Yeah.
And flavor of the month is a perennial term.
This game's called Peak. Okay.
But like, but yeah, what's funny is that like a lot of the people are like kind of just leaving it as jokes, because when I was telling people like outside of the content creation space that like I was working on a Pirate Software video, I was getting responses that were like, "Why are you covering this guy?" Like. There were people who were doubting that I could do anything interesting with the topic. And I don't know if it's interesting, but some of those people came back and said, okay, I see the vision you had now. So
because I mean I would say like when it comes to Pirate Software, it's a lot of that content. I mean, what you would can we coin the term pirate slop? Can we coin that?
Pirate slopware.
No,
like, it is true.
It's like people reacting to the latest thing
the
that
thing is,
happened.
Everything that Jason says has a shred of truth to it. That's why he's such a complicated figure, because his complaints are valid to a degree. It's just he's taken it to like some type of extreme. So he has said before that like everybody's trying to get their pound of flesh on his situation. That's true.
Yeah.
That's 100% true.
Yeah.
It like sucks to say that he was right, but he is right. Like, there are people who have nothing to add to the conversation, but I'm not one of those people, because I did something that they're not doing, which is taking from the perspective of Stop Killing Games, look at what all was going on.
Pound of flesh. I think the only flesh getting pounded are those poor ferrets.
Come on, they're only a pound. It is funny. I've gotten a disproportionate number of comments of people saying, "What's wrong with gay furry ERP?" And it's like, did you finish the sentence where the rest of it is that he was doing with multiple people while cheating on his wife? Like, the gay furry ERP thing is just the start of that. There was somebody who was disappointed I didn't get into the furry stuff, and it's like, why? Why would it be productive from a Stop Killing Game perspective to talk about the furry stuff, like, in depth? Like, the odd joke every now and then, fine, but it's like, do I really gotta, like, talk about, like, oh, yes, I think he fucks the ferrets. I think he puts them in his asshole. And it's like...
I think a lot of people didn't catch on that it's from the perspective of Stop Killing Games. I think a lot of people at this point, they just see Pirate Software and they're automatically like, oh, another React Andy doing the Pirate Software thing. Another YouTuber trying to cash in on the pirate drama.
What's the latest drama? What's the latest thing he said?
Yeah, and I'm going to be real with you. The cashing in on my part was just so that I got paid for the work that I did making the video. Otherwise, like, this was a project of spite. I don't like Pirate Software in the slightest. I haven't since the original Stop Killing Games thing went down. I am rooting for his, like, destruction as a content creator. And
what do you think?
I have a casus belli to cover this topic because I was involved when it originally went down. So, like, yeah, I feel justified in making the video.
It is weird that, and part of it does kind of annoy me. I made that pretty clear in my video, but it took for him being embarrassing about a WoW raid for this to finally come full circle. Now we can all finally jump on
my bit. I gotta thank you for that, because my bit where I'm saying, guys, it does matter, because if you're this immature in a video game, how are you in real life? That was inspired by your talking about, like, I find this stupid, because it's like, no, I think it matters. Because like people have been undone for less. Like getting really mad in a Call of Duty 1v1 pretty much started a death spiral for Wings of Redemption.
It's really just like it was just like the worst time for him to have a mask off moment, because it's like you're involving all of these large streamers and their audiences and everything. Like that was just man.
And I don't
get. He was playing with a loaded gun there, and
what I don't get, and I didn't really explain this in the video. So OnlyFangs is a content guild. It exists to make content out of hardcore classic World of Warcraft. So you can't complain when it's your turn to be made content out of, because that's the social contract that you signed by participating in that in the first place. Like you're gonna take some licks at some point. Like that's the point. Like your turn is gonna end soon. It'll move on to someone else, and then you get to make fun of them when that happens. Like, but no, he didn't get that.
I think Pirate's issue. He's not aware that as a streamer, you're also the jester. Yeah, it's like you're the guy. Yeah,
he's the king.
He thinks he's like the smart advisor. He's like, oh, I'm the guy everyone goes to for info. It's like, and then you go and do a WoW raid for, which by the way, that name alone, OnlyFangs. It's like, okay, the gay ERP furry really is. Come on, who's writing this shit? I really think that is just his biggest failing, and that is like
kind of sad.
A part of me also wonders, like, what would have happened if the WoW raid did not happen? Like what?
Oh no, what would have happened? We're in the bad timeline.
Yeah,
I feel like I didn't talk about that enough. Like, because there are people who are pointing out, like, that's what the title's implying. He soloed the movement in a good and a bad way. It was bad initially, but then it ended up being good. Because he did that, we succeeded. If he hadn't done that, we probably were fucked. That's the way that I look at it. Like, I think that StopKillingGames was maybe 4 or 5 years away from actually being able to be successful. Sad to say, I think more games needed to die for us to gain that
we needed a lot of like
base.
We needed a lot of high profile games that people actually liked.
Yeah.
At one point or another, we needed those to die.
That was my critique at the time, and I understood Ross's motivation because, like, you know, it was the crew. The crew happened. We have the opportunity for a lawsuit. Let's do it now. I'm not going to fault Ross for that. I've got no problem with Ross for that. My thought is just, if you want to succeed from like the Aristotelian, we're going to defeat them with facts and logic, though, we were a few years away from ever being able to do that.
No, it needed to happen like during the inevitable impending meltdown of the AAA industry. Like maybe around Marathon, when that goes the way of Concord and stuff. Mm-hmm. Maybe.
It'd have to be a game that people really like.
I think even Marathon.
Yeah, that's...
Like, it's definitely got to be something that people like. It's got to be like if Fortnite just randomly died. Like, if Epic Game Studios like went under... By the way, I gotta publish this somewhere. This is my personal game crash theory. Everybody switches to Unreal Engine, and then Epic goes under, and then everybody's fucked afterwards.
Man, that's a really awesome game crash theory.
So, well, what's really crazy is you're seeing like game developers who don't actually know how to make games anymore just because they're using Unreal.
Yeah.
And Unreal does so much of the back end, like heavy lifting and everything. You just have to look at like how so many games control the same, and it's because they're just using the baked in like standard character controller that comes with Unreal. Like when you make a new project, it's just like, what do you want to make? A first person game, a third person? So they just hit, like, oh, it's a third person game, we're gonna hit the third person thing, and bam, there we go. We got all of our locomotion already handled, and just build off of this. What did they do with this? How did they set this up? Okay, just rig it the exact same way and just add on to it. And it's like you're seeing so much like stuff. Developers and stuff, they'll be like, oh, we're gonna, in like 6 months or whatever, we're gonna add this new feature. And I was like, yeah, because that's gonna be rolling out into Unreal. That's gonna be coming out of beta, and then you're just gonna roll it into the next builds and then just release it. And it's like these guys don't know how to make games anymore, and it's like that's wild. There's like so many elements
that they just
of
not knowing how to make games.
People don't know how to make games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really feel. I mean, quick going back to that discussion about Unreal. Just there is a brain drain. There is a noticeable lack of people. Like I'll always say like we need our John Carmacks, and we just don't have them. We do not have. And you know what? My personal theory is they're out there. They're just stuck. They're stuck down in the programming mines, or they're not able to make the influence that they need to make.
We made the inference to film schools of the 80s. That came from just the absolute awful Hollywood industry of the 70s and how exploitative it was. And like all of those guys got out and said, I'm going to go teach at a film school, or I'm going to just do it on my own somewhere else. Like, and that's how we got that cultural renaissance. And so you could see something like that with gaming as well. And you're starting to see like the preliminaries of it. Like,
you're starting to see like big names coming out of the industry and just going and making their own fucking YouTube channels where they're like, here, let me just explain. I'm just going to make like a ton of videos, like 50 videos of my 30 years of experience. Like, here's how you design this sort of system. Here's how you handle this like management issue and stuff like that. And it's like,
that's actually valuable information.
I'm actually really hopeful for the future of gaming because that sort of stuff is now happening.
But it's not going to be the names that you see now. Like, there's no way that Ubisoft exists in 20 years. I feel like that's a pretty safe bet.
I think we're going to see like is Atariification, if that's a word.
Like
we're going to see
like a
all these
Skinwalker company named
I
Ubisoft.
love that word. Yeah, we're going to see all these skinwalkers running around. There's going to be a company. I mean, Bungie basically is a skinwalker at this point. It's like, all these companies
I don't know,
still.
because Ubisoft and like EA have just become like their logo is toxic. I see their logo and I just stop paying attention to the product at that point. All I see is the logo.
I'll say like the people who see the Ubisoft logo are the people who log into R6 every day.
God bless. If they're still with it. I forgot to mention Rainbow Six is like one of my examples of like there's a game that will die one day and people will celebrate just because people have kind of accepted that like you're never ever going to get year one Siege back. So just who cares if it dies? But
I wish developers would stop doing the 10-year this game's gonna last forever thing.
10-year plan.
Yeah, just make a game.
I think that failed.
Get it to a good point, and then just make the next one. It's fine to have Rainbow Six 7.
I think there's no. Well, they tried that and it failed. There's no way that Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be pitched as like a forever game. I think they've got to take that back to like roots.
Yeah.
But listen, do you know what is a 10-year project? This little game you may have heard of called Heartbound. One thing I wanted to say about Pirate is that it is rare that a content creator can dominate a drama story where they're the only player in it, right? Because you can say like, oh, but Ross is in this. He's not in the story, not at all.
No.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
Like, it is literally just Pirate Software for months. Okay, nobody else has ever done that. We're actually as somebody who follows a lot of drama stuff, we're kind of in an unprecedented situation right now, because there has never been a content creator who has been under fire for this long who hasn't cracked. Okay?
Yeah.
There's no catharsis with the YouTube viewers, which means this has happened before with Pirate Software. Okay? This happened before after the WoW thing with the DMCA stuff. He didn't crack under that situation, and that's what precipitated this big blow up. So what's going to happen if he doesn't crack now, and then something happens with him down the road in 3 to 6 months?
Oh no.
It's think this is over?
It's going to be a year of dogpiling on Pirate.
This is why
2026.
This is why I said I waited for the drama to die, but it didn't really dry, because I realized this story doesn't end. Like, Pirate Software is the master of his own fate. He controls when the story ends.
Yes.
And he's not doing that, which means that it's just going to continue.
The show, he's not leaving the stage. He's not getting off the stage. Like, everybody's chucking cabbages and stuff at him, and he's just still he's still up there.
Yeah, so like people were trying to be like, hey, some ordinary gamers, Mutahar, he's going to be the next guy. Everybody's going to move on from Pirate Software to Mutahar, and it's like, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. People are talking about it. It's kind of a sideshow as a break, but like, people went back to Pirate Software content. It's like,
dude, Pirates thing has blown up so much that like one of my friends he doesn't do like drama and stuff. He used to watch like a little bit of Pirate and stuff, and then he caught on to all this stuff that was happening, and he just cannot get enough watching like Pirate drama videos and stuff. Like, he's barely involved. He's very like normie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even he's like plugged into this, and like it just keeps coming up every week. Somebody's just like, oh my god, it's a fire that just will not go out.
It's gonna die down. He's gonna have like a couple kind of perpetual haters from now on, but these guys are gonna be watching him like a hawk, and he's gonna slip up at some point. He's gonna fuck up, and it's gonna start up again until that moment of catharsis happens. That's an essential part of a drama cycle, is when the person cracks and people finally relent. That's when people move on from a story. So because that's not happening,
he just keeps doubling and tripling and quadrupling down and stuff, and it's just like, this is really going to become a game of like, who's going to blink first.
Because like, I wonder what do you think it's going to be? What do you think the final nail's going to be?
When does he break?
I was going to joke. It's when the initiative passes and Steam notifies them, "Hey, we need you guys to provide an offline mode for this game."
Well, he already had that moment with Heartbound, where Steam will now like post a disclaimer on games that haven't received early access games that haven't received an update in a while. This game is probably like abandoned. So they passed that, and like immediately the release cadence of updates for Heartbound increased. So Pirate's got it covered, man.
Yeah,
he's got his bases covered.
I'm gonna think on that a second of like, what is gonna be his downfall. I think it's gonna be a streamer drama. There's going to be a conflict with another big high level Twitch streamer at some point.
I have my own personal theory. I think some developer is gonna shit talk him. I think some big developer is gonna shit talk Pirate Software.
So like Todd Howard or somebody at that caliber is gonna like be on Joe Rogan. Todd Howard's gonna be on Joe Rogan, and he's gonna be talking about like making Elder Scrolls 6, and he's gonna be like, yeah, there's this guy on Twitch that that did this really like bad, did this like really bad job, and you see this arrogance from online content creators, and Pirate Software is going to be like, this is completely uncalled for. This is completely uncalled for. It's completely unprofessional. And it's just going to tick him off that he's not getting respect from a big game developer, and then all of these case files are coming right back. The 1 hour slop videos are going to be like, they're just gonna like edit it where they change the order of what things that they said and just release the same video in like 6 months when this blows up. And like,
dude, we have drama content that's actually gonna be evergreen.
Yeah, no, my video is gonna have it, like, it's gonna come back, like.
You can repost it with the same thumbnail.
Yeah.
No, that would be really funny if he like got publicly disavowed by the like game industry as a whole.
Oh,
or like,
so at like the Game Awards, like, okay, here's what happened.
Oh my god, we all just had the same vision.
I got the vision. Okay, they're gonna get some type of outside celebrity to present at the Game Awards, and the outside celebrity is not gonna have the niceties of like a game developer, and so he's gonna be on stage and he's gonna be making some joke, and he's gonna be like, yeah, this is like the shit that Pirate Software guy was doing, and Pirate Software is gonna be streaming it live. He's gonna be reacting to it live, and it'll happen.
I have an alternate theory. They're gonna do, you know how they have all those like during ad breaks they start showing all the indie games that don't deserve a world premiere. One of those games is going to be a Pirate Software game, and some celebrity is going to make a joke about it. So that's going to be it.
Just don't ask what this guy's doing with the ferrets, huh? Who's the celebrity they get, like, I don't know. Ice Cube's back, isn't he? Because of that terrible War of the Worlds movie.
He's back. He's doing Minecraft commercials.
So it's going to be Ice Cube because he needs the money for some reason. And
yeah, he must have spent all that money.
You know, it's I was thinking about it the other night. Like, what is Pirate Software's out? And I said this a while ago, and I'm going to repeat it again. It's like he just needs to own all of this. He just needs to, like, accept his role as, like, the internet boogeyman. Like, kind of like the Dr. Disrespect thing. And, I mean, it's not going to save his career.
We call that pulling a destiny.
Yeah, but just being like, yeah, I'm a piece of shit. I'm going to continue to be a piece of shit. And it's just like,
if you don't like it, don't watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, that really is, that's all he has to do. That's all he has to say. And, like, it's over.
Angle one,
I say the truth that people disagree with.
Angle two, and it's impossible because of his personality, is that he comes on LARP number 10, the actual, and then does an interview with us, and we can have an earnest conversation about, like, kind of how this went wrong and what remediation looks like, and really try to, like, kind of massage his image, and not like in a malicious, like, over tricking you into following somebody. Like, if he has if he comes back from his workcation to and be like, okay, I've heard you guys out, I did mess some stuff up, like, this is the frustrating thing about the Pirate Software story. Is he a sociopath or a narcissist?
Narcissist. I think he sees himself as the internet smart guy, and that's like,
I think he's a sociopath. I think he sees that as the means by which he can, like, kind of curate an audience, and he's just too invested in it at this point because he knows that, like,
maybe
the people that are diehard, like, occasionally commenting on, like, the trigger word they always use is they say that we're a cult, which is kind of ironic for, like, a group of a few thousand people that are committed to this guy, to the destruction of the planet. Like, to the day that the Earth dies, they will be Pirate Software fans. So it's weird that they're calling other people cults. Like, he knows that to keep that core audience around, he's now locked into this character. I think I'm always team sociopath.
To argue against that, though, if he really was team sociopath, like, wouldn't he, like, have gone back at some point? Wouldn't he have put the mask back on and been like just dropped, like,
this carefully
at some point?
Beat the retreat?
Because the thing is, like, when I see him doubling down, I just see vanity. I see a guy who cannot handle admitting that he was either wrong, or that people disagree with him, or that he just completely misunderstood what he was arguing against. I see a guy who is, like, fed up with people making fun of him, making fun of his code, making fun of his game, and the only thing he knows how to do is double down and insist, like, no, I'm right. I'm in the right. All these normies, all these cultists just are. I hope they get everything they asked for and nothing they wanted.
Chat hoppers is what he likes to call them.
I'm so glad I got the opportunity to make fun of Twitch and, like, the lame terminology they come up with for all these concepts and stuff.
I wonder how much Pirate was viewbotting.
That came out. Yeah.
People, so, like, there was one guy who was like, yeah, he started out to, like, 5,000 viewers, and it's like, no. Twitch stream statistics from years ago are still available. You can see that, like, he started at, like, 9 people in his chat, like. But I could buy because he's that guy. He started YouTube in 2018, which is a terrible time. I speak from experience and authority with a deep voice when I say that was a terrible time to start on the internet as a content creator, because that was the era when, like, all of the advice was, like, SEO oriented. Like, here's how you just tag fuck your video into being popular. So, like, he sees everything from, like, an SEO lens in terms of, like, getting the content out there. Like, that's why the title of his video is just Stop Killing Games. It's because he made the title of his Concord video, I think it's just Concord, so that when people look up just Concord, you know, that's what's going to show up. Like, he knows what he's doing. My favorite is he named himself Pirate Software, so when people look up software piracy or some variation of that, like he comes up.
I don't know what he is.
He is the naming his videos thing. I didn't even really think about that until just now. That I feel that has to do with like, I think he really just wants to have the final word on everything. That was his. I mean, that was his Stop Killing Games.
Well,
video.
that was my point. Is he can never.
This is the end.
He can never put out like a correction video, right?
Yeah.
The only like he doubled down. He considered his correction like a comment on a Louis Rossmann video. That was his like, that was his turnaround point. Was he wrote a comment on a video that was him like acknowledging that something, whatever, like it was a terrible argument because it's a comment on a video when you probably need to take those videos down.
Because it was clearly someone who he respected a little more than Ross.
No, he doesn't respect Louis Rossmann at all. The problem is that Louis Rossmann's a bigger YouTuber than him.
Oh.
That's all that matters. That's why I'm like Team Sociopath, because it's like he speaks clout capital. He understands that game so thoroughly on a level that like normal people can't. If you're a normal person, you don't fucking stand a chance on Twitch against people like this.
Yeah.
Because he's not. I don't think he's really in that Twitch in crowd. Like he goes. He's at the streamies. Obviously, he probably talks to Pokimane every now and then. But like the Twitch in crowd was people who lived in Austin, Texas, who fucked at orgies. Okay.
Yeah.
There are people who have sent nudes to Dan Clancy. There are people who've had sex with Destiny. That's the Twitch in crowd that like gets promoted artificially on that platform. So you got to imagine with the level of nepotism and corruption that's going on at Twitch, to be successful on that platform and not have sent your dick pic to Dan Clancy, that is like next level gaming. Like I gotta acknowledge the one thing he's good at is that like he was on one of the worst fucking platforms to try to grow yourself, and he thrived there. So kudos.
Yeah, he played the game well.
He is a gamer.
Until he did the wrong play, and well,
that's what I love is that like Pirate Software came up against the genuine version of who that person, like that blueprint of a person is, which is Ross.
Oh yeah.
Like the long-haired kind of nice guy aesthetic.
No, he ran his foil was the person he always actually wanted everybody to believe he was.
Yeah.
But no, I was going to make a joke about doing a bad play in World of Warcraft.
Yeah. No, like it all comes down to like if he hadn't made that split-second decision to not use his mana gem, like
people would.
That is hesitation. The fact that if it wasn't even just like he just like if his cursor didn't like hover over it or whatever, then it could just at least been like, oh, he just completely forgot he had it.
Or if he had it fucking keybound, so you couldn't even see that like he was contemplating pressing it. Because if it was keybound, like you wouldn't know that he was like almost reached for the key, like. So that's also a funny thing. A guy got done in by being a clicker in WoW.
Here's the timeline. The alternate timeline to consider is that WoW situation not happening.
Oh no, absolutely, 100%. Because I think if Ross does the end of Stop Killing Games and that hadn't happened, there would be outrage, but it would be lesser. And so this would be like one of the more minor stories. And I feel like SKG, if it succeeds, it barely gets over it's like 2 days before the deadline ends. Like there's just no like mass enthusiasm for it, but it probably fails in that timeline. And scary stuff keeps me up at night. I mean, that wasn't like that. The EU petition failing wasn't the end of the line, because there's still the France lawsuit. There's still the UK petition.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they had so many.
The EU was a big front, and it's good that we had success there, but it wasn't do or die. I like that I was able to give people the opportunity to kind of get some venom out about Pirate Software in a way that didn't have to be on their platform. Because like I looked at Jeweler's Twitter, and like he hadn't posted on Twitter at all about Pirate Software. So like that man was like he was ready Like he went above and beyond for his bit. Like, because
I felt really.
He wanted to talk
upstaged.
shit. Yeah,
I got upstaged by everybody. Like, yeah, Jeweler in the Wig. I fucking lost it.
Yeah.
I was laughing so hard.
So that actually is his wife standing behind him, with her hair over his head. That's why he looks like he has a really big skull. I'm telling you, this man went above and beyond to answer the call. Same with Tetra did a good job. Half of Tetra's line was not scripted. He did that himself. And then Indigo wrote like 10 different lines.
Indigo cooked.
Mm-hmm. Like, so I think that these people wanted an opportunity to make fun of Pirate Software and were glad to do it on someone else's platform. And it's a good transaction because it also lends my video more credibility to like kind of to have more people not endorsing it because you guys didn't get to see it beforehand. But Andy, were you surprised by the Halo Machinima part?
I was. That was a very interesting route to take with making that video. And I kind of hovered over it. I'm like, oh, he did the Machinima for the whole thing. Well, that must have been a big pain in the ass.
Yeah, I wonder how many people like hovered over the seek bar and was like, oh wait, this isn't just a bit.
Yeah, I was looking for like what the fuck reactions.
And the worst part is not enough people are going to appreciate how long it took you, or how much effort and just time it takes to do something like that.
But I did get I didn't get the what the fuck comments, but I did get a lot of people who were like, bro, this reminded me of like a better era of YouTube.
I saw that. Yeah. It's like you're like Mr. Adam Kovic doing his Machinima news channel. Before the dark times, we don't talk about that. Before Machinima had a proper news show, it was Inside Gaming was entirely recorded by a guy doing Halo 3 Machinima as his like, instead of standing in front of a camera. But we don't talk about that guy. I've referenced him way too many times on my channel for the things he's done to people's property and desks. That's what that reminded me of. I'm like, oh, it's like I'm watching an old Inside Gaming video.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, I also didn't mention one of the reasons I think the story blew up so big was because the big YouTube drama this year has been Ethan Klein versus Hassan Piker, which is basically Israel versus Palestine, the YouTube drama. and then the other one is the failure of Creator Clash, which some people will see as just kind of an expansion of the H3 versus Hassan drama. But I think it kind of stood on its own. But even that was still like very coded in the Israel-Palestine conflict, and then also just kind of the tragedy of it, like all those fighters that put in the effort that got fucked over, and like the charity that didn't get to raise any money and all that. And it was like, this is a fun old school YouTube drama of this guy has a big fucking ego and he's annoying. Let's make fun of him.
And everybody of all politics can dunk on him.
Mm-hmm. He's got something for everybody. The only thing he still doesn't have is like a pedo allegation.
It's gonna happen.
Is that the downfall?
It really is. That when it comes to Twitch streamers, that seems to be the case.
I don't buy that it'll happen. I think he was too careful. Because the people that he's always been caught with were like 20 years
Ferrets. Old. Oh, sorry. Is that joke in too old? Is that accusation?
See, I find it kind of passé because I'm always bored by like he's a furry so he wants to fuck animals thing. So already I'm kind of like about it. I care more that like he was a cheater. Watch that come out.
I care more that he was like stealing credit from the people he worked with and everything. Mm-hmm. And that was the angle that really bothered me. I had this realization last night that like him doing the whole I'm giving everybody advice and free advice and stuff was really just another form of him just stealing credit for other people's work.
Yeah, God forbid you ever admit that you like listened to Pirate Software and then release your own game.
Yeah, like, and that's I wanted to put a tweet out when I had
made
this realization. Yeah, like, because that's ultimately what he was going after, was to have this like this sense of validity, this that these people wouldn't have been able to do this without my help and stuff. And it's just like, no, that's not how this works. Like, those people still put the work in to make the game themselves and everything. And I realized, like, there are probably people who took advice from him that are working on projects right now, and they feel like really just uncomfortable. They don't know, like, really, probably doubting their own abilities and everything. And it's just like, don't give somebody like Pirate Software that sort of ownership over you and your accomplishments and things like that. Don't give anybody that sort of ownership. It's just like, if you're working on something, that's you.
I think if it's happening, it's probably like a small enough number to not need to worry about. Because I've got a lot of comments that were like, yeah, I used to listen to Pirate Software, and then like this all blew up, and kind of, they either like were there for the blow up and then kind of gave up, or like they were there for a little bit and then like it started to just really stand out. The issues
I could see somebody who genuinely reached out to him for like advice and stuff, accepted his advice, worked his advice into whatever it is they're working on and stuff, and then this all happens, and now they're just like, well, shit, is like, did I fuck up? Did I get bamboozled on everything?
Pirate told us to put all of our code into the cloud. I don't know if that's a smart idea anymore. What you have to do is you have to have a button, and when you push it, it destroys your game.
Just instantly
because when
obliterates it.
When your game loses its players, it's just not worth playing anymore.
Andy, was there a big one thing that attracted you to the Pirate Software story? Not, let's say, not.
It was Ross. It was entirely Ross.
StopKillingGames.
I literally, you know what? I heard of him once when the whole Helldivers thing was going on. I'm like, all right, honestly didn't even like breach my radar. And then then Ross Scott called him out, and that was it. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, I know immediately get introduced to this guy. Yeah. And it's like,
everything I've learned was against my will type situation.
I'm a Ross Scott YouTuber or listener. That's the stuff that I listen to.
Ross Scott enthusiast.
I am a longtime enthusiast of Accursed Farms and Game Dungeon.
I'm trying to think, what was it about him that wasn't StopKillingGames that really pissed me off? It wasn't the conflict of interest thing, even though that's what I did like kind of focus on.
I just didn't like how he carried himself.
It's the attitude. It really is.
That arrogance, that constant arrogance and smugness, like completely unearned and stuff.
So he fucks the story up and then like refuses to like own it or like,
correct the information. Even beyond that,
I can fully buy that at some point he has said like, you got to take this video down because it's just getting so much wrong. Like,
even outside of that,
said.
His general content, I didn't like him before any of this. It was just, I watched just like a couple things, and immediately my intuition and my experience as a content creator was like, this dude is just full of shit. That's it. He's just another grifter. He's just playing a different sort of game.
He is like the poster child example of like, in my Skyrim video when I was talking about like deep voiced guys that speak from authority, like that's him.
Yep.
It wasn't him specifically, but he is like.
I've just seen so many of these people over the years where it's just like, I'm just sick of it. So when he came around, it's just like, here's another one. All right.
Yeah. Okay. I know what it is. It was just like brute forcing his way through the controversy. That's what really fucking pissed me off about him, was just like, I'm tired of seeing that online. I'm tired of like someone getting called out and just like kind of ignoring the entire thing because they can just tank it. They can just tank that reputation blow.
Yep. And it's like, all right, I lose 300,000 subscribers. I still have like 5 million subscribers. Doesn't matter.
And that's a big blow. And still
getting exactly. Getting 15% less viewership on my streams for the next few months. No big deal. I'm still making, $4 million this year.
Because my core audience is going to donate more because I'm taking a blow, and it's just like I'm sick of that.
Yeah, I'm sick of that. It makes me feel disgusted as like a YouTuber and stuff.
But That's one of
it
my
never-
reasons that the silver play button I have is still in the box. Like,
Yeah, like I
can't.
it's
I
one of the
can't
reasons
take
I'm
pride in my
embarrassed
work
to tell
with stuff like
people.
that, yeah.
I tell people a lot of the time I'm a video editor, or like I just
Yeah.
work in media.
Oh,
like
yeah,
I don't
no,
tell
I do
them
that
I'm a
too.
YouTuber because like it's fucking embarrassing, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm a
I-
YouTuber. No, not like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you
yeah.
always have to like clarify. It's like no, I'm not some just like React Andy drama
No,
blah blah blah.
I'm
It's
not.
like
I'm not a pedophile.
yeah, yeah, and it's like I'm just so glad like this dude's getting blown from orbit, but it's just like
I think you need a pirate software every now and then to keep the other people in line.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
it is a yeah. It's a
I
good like,
named and shamed one in the video. There's a lot more that I could name. Like,
Yeah. It's a long list.
and I mean it's a good just like personality check of like oh, just kind of take inventory of yourself. Like, oh, this being acting super stubborn.
yeah.
yeah. No, I really do recommend people watch his second interview with Dr. K. It's really fascinating. It's 4 hours long, but it is so fascinating. Like just
I can't
way
believe the apology. He did that thing about the apology and then still did it anyways later.
yeah. It's really fascinating stuff to watch that. Yeah,
I guess
it's-
we have him to
Pirate's
thank for
he's definitely a cautionary tale.
it. Very, very much so. I think that's kind of the takeaway for a lot of people. That there's a lot of people just quietly being like, okay, I can't act like a prick like this anymore.
Well, it has to be stated that it's not easy to be a pirate software in terms of like getting into this much drama, because there was somebody who left a comment like, I would be scared to be an influencer because something like this could happen to you, and it's like,
No.
this is not something that you just like accidentally
No.
step on or rake and ends up happening to you. Like,
No, this dude was building this before he even got to YouTube. Like
oh yeah, no,
This-
well, if we're talking about like the lifelong pathological issues,
yes.
yeah, no,
Like
this
you need to be wired a certain way to get yourself into
this is
position.
where you will be in your mid-30s if you do not treat that personality disorder. Like,
Yeah, no, like, and that's why I say like that Dr. K interview is so fascinating, because it's like when you take that and then put it in perspective with I recommend, if you're going to watch two things other than Patrician's video, go and watch that first, of course. Watch the Dr. K interview and watch Turkey Tom's video that he just released, and in that order, it is fascinating. Like you really do just start to understand like, well, you're left with more questions than answers about like the man himself, and it's like it does kind of like paint certain pictures. I'm still not fully done unpacking everything that I've learned from that and the thoughts that I've had from that, because it's just like
it reminds me of Christian. Like the first time that I heard about Christian, like, oh man, I don't want to, because like that was a different point in my life.
Yeah.
That was a different point in my life where things could have turned out very differently in terms of like my working situation, and like I was like, I don't think that I could get as bad as Christian, but I do need to like reprioritize what's going on in my life so that I don't even like have the risk of it.
There's I mean, if we're going down the rabbit hole of old lol cows, the one that actually I think of, because Chris Tran's a special scenario that's like full on mental illness.
Yeah.
The one I think of, and I'm curious to know how popular he is anymore, is Andrew Dobson.
Ooh, okay, that name did come up kind of recently.
It's in the sense that like, if I'm not going to do the full Andrew Dobson rundown, we're already pressed for time as is, but old internet webcomic artist, always fighting with people. He always tried to present himself as this holier than thou. I am the superior intellectual artist. I like what I like, and everything else is stupid and dumb, and you should feel bad for not liking my things. I vividly remember going down that rabbit hole and kind of thinking to myself, like, and like to elaborate, like he didn't really show any signs of mental illness. Like maybe a personality disorder, probably narcissism. But it was a very interesting thing to look at and go like, oh, like this is what can happen if you are just too vindictive, or if you're too hostile to like outside criticism, or you're not like not getting a sense of humility in yourself, not looking at yourself in the mirror and going like, I'm not the best. My stuff might be bad, or my stuff might not be the best. Like it really did have an effect on me learning about this guy. I feel kind of the same way, obviously in a very different scale. I feel the same way with Pirate. Just the good lesson to learn from, like, hey, this is what happens when you stop listening to people, when you keep doubling down, and when you just make a complete ass of yourself and you just are unable to see through it.
So, like, it's definitely the case. Pirate has probably no person that he reaches out to for, like, an optics check. There's nobody that he's like, hey, let me run this tweet by you. That I'm gonna in response to the end of Stop Killing Games video, I'm gonna run this tweet by you, and you tell me if this is a good idea. So it's like,
should I send this 3-paragraph tweet?
Yeah. Oh, 3.
It's like, maybe cut it down, Pirate. Maybe don't write that much, or just don't send it at all.
It's so long. The scrolling effect in my video is almost unreadable because.
I noticed that. I'm like, that's a really long tweet.
Yeah.
He has actually, this is funny. He has before been like, what is it with you and you're posting like 20 tweets in a row about this? And it's like, yeah, that person wrote the same thing that you write. It's just broken up into 20 posts because they don't pay for Twitter. Like, can you show a little self-awareness?
That's where I do believe your theory about like his brain being fried.
Mm-hmm.
It's like moments like that where it's just completely unaware. It's like that. That's not normal.
Or I literally never
normal.
talk about it thing. Like, he could actually
Yeah.
believe that he never talks about it because, like, that compilation, you know, like, let's say it happens like 50 times over the course of his like streaming year. That's like, I don't know, let's spitball 1,000 hours of content that he puts out.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like 50 times over 1,000 hours. I could see him believing that like he never talks about it. It's like the occasional anecdote, but it's like, surely.
Especially if it's like, if it's just like a 2-minute tangent thing that he just like kind of spews out. Especially if it's like a lot of it sounds like automatic.
Well, the funny part about the montage is every time you see him mention Blizzard, he's playing some different game. It's like when I started looking at what he was playing in that montage, I was like, holy shit, he's playing Hogwarts Legacy. That game is so old.
Yeah. So that does like lend credence to the idea that it was like that was over the course of several thousand hours worth of streams and stuff. So it's like, I get it, but at the same time,
I think that there is a market in a month or two for a video that's like, guys, listen, Pirate Software is wrong, but here's why he thinks he's right, and it just like goes down like, and here's how he probably got this misconception that he's right about this, and here like. Because I think that's
the video we're gonna. Yeah, that's the video we'll get in like a year or two after the police report comes out.
Because I think it's like if he's being critiqued about like the off-brand thing, you know, he's gonna think like, well, I tried to disavow the bad parts as much as possible and do it right, you know, according to my vision. So I don't know why I'm being criticized for that. And it's like. It's because you're shady.
Can we just stop for a second and just shit talk off-brand, please? I've been holding this back for a while now.
I like that. I sent you that link, and you've been steaming ever since.
Seething.
If you want to kick, go check out offbrand.gg. I think is the link. It's the website for off-brand games, which is Ludwig's game publisher.
Damn.
The origin story of that is literally, so Ludwig ran like an esports team called Offbrand, and then he contacted Pirate Software and said, I want to move into publishing. And like, that's the origin of that company, is Pirate Software. So the notion that like Pirate could be dispossessed of that because he like took this almost volunteer position, it's at least karmically satisfying, because there's no world in which I don't have partial ownership for that arrangement. Like,
no, because here's the thing: is like it was probably an optics thing, like his fucking ferret rescue, where he's just like, okay, the ferret rescue is going to be a part of my company so that I pay the maximum amount of taxes, because somebody on the internet's going to say, oh, you're just trying to hide money, you're just trying to not pay taxes and everything. And it's
like that's ironic, because the whole point of the nonprofit is like, here's the transparency report.
Yeah,
the legally required transparency report that I could get in a lot of trouble if I'm lying about. So it's like, that's why that stuff is there. Like, that's how the Gerard the Completionist got caught, was the transparency stuff that he had to release about his charity. And like, people started doing the numbers and being like, hey, yo, it looks like you've got 600 grand that was donated to you that never got passed on to the charity. Hey, what's up with that?
Yeah, that's why I would really encourage people to not donate to an organization that is not like legally classified as a nonprofit, because because it's stuff
you've
exactly like that.
You've got no protections.
Yeah, well, you got no protections, and you also have there's just no transparency there. Like, you don't know how much money they're making and stuff.
So
you don't know how much
off-brand
money they're
games.
passing off. Yeah, but off-brand games, good God.
That little snippet I included is just a little teaser of what's going on that website.
What I do like is the honesty, where they say like, oh, here's like all the different types of people we have, working in this company and stuff, and none of them say game developer or game designer or anything like that. It is all just like, we're content creators and esports people and stuff, and it's just like, okay, good. People who never made a video game before, you're going to be publishing games, great, got it.
Well, you know what they say, Twitch streamer to game publisher is like a lateral move, right?
Yeah, of course.
I don't get it.
It's like Donkey's publishing company.
Yeah, that too.
I know what makes a good game. I'll publish them myself.
No,
I know where it comes from too. I know where it comes from is because like publishers are the bad guys, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to be the good publisher, and it's just like, have we considered that publishers are just kind of antiquated at this point and completely like irrelevant?
That's what I
said.
said.
Good.
That's what I said to you. Is like, well, they offer all these services, and it's like, okay, what are the services? And it's like a legal team, and it's like, so you could just hire a law firm, and it's like a localization, and it's like, so you could just hire a localization firm, and it's like,
and you won't have to.
They interface with Steam, and it's like Steam is the easy, like not easiest, but it's easy to work with, to self-publish. So marketing. It's like advertising firm. Like, all of these things are probably better for you to just be on a contract with a one-off contract than like dealing with a game publisher. Like, at best, it's just they secure loans for your company, which is not something you want to do.
No.
Because that's how so many game companies got fucked in the 2000s. I like the people that are trying to like, why are you shit talking Rivals of Aether 2? They're doing microtransactions ethically.
Fuck off.
And it's like, Rivals of Aether 1 succeeded without any of that stuff. No, none of the microtransactions, not the fucking third-party account, not the fucking end-user license agreement that describes it as a service and not a game. Like, they didn't need any of that for the first game to be a success, so why do they need it for the second one? Oh, I get it. There is no ethics in microtransactions.
No,
guys, they're just paid skins. Yeah, paid skins suck too. Like,
yeah, you know what's cool? You know what's cool about Dune Awakening? You can get the cosmetics and stuff in game by doing challenges, like how games used to be.
Guys,
and this is an MMO.
Guys, don't be mad. It's just a one-off raid. It's just a one-off raid sponsorship. Okay, it's not gonna lead to anything.
Yeah.
Down the line.
No, it's just, there's ways you can do it. I don't think you need to go full corpo and stuff. And it's such a perfect, oh God, that's what I love about like the off-brand thing and everything. It's just like such a perfect example of like, once people start to get like, like once the outsiders, once the gamers and stuff start to get a grip on something, they immediately go full corpo. And it's like, why it's why I don't trust these people at all.
I just don't trust Twitch people in general.
Yeah, like
that's why I
that's pretty.
Talk to the platform so much.
That's pretty smart. Yeah.
because it's just like that platform, in its essence was like really never good.
Its core design was essentially like at its very inception, it had already started just like fully cracking down on like censorship, removing people who didn't abide by the company standards. Like Twitch is this very weird echo chamber where you can't step out of line.
It's a very censorious website. They practically control who is successful on their website and who isn't.
Oh, they do.
And
100%.
Like, it's so funny, they didn't have any kind of like copyright system until they like started to get mass flagged by record labels who were like, we're tired of you guys just playing music on your streams. We've had that on YouTube since like 2007. They didn't have that until like 2022.
Yeah, and it's still not really enforced. All that really happens is like the VOD gets muted.
Yeah, which is like they already have a platform where it's like it's just normal for content to disappear. So it's like no wonder a Twitch guy thinks that like games shouldn't be preserved. It's like he already like has a
really
low
good
view
point.
of the stuff that he makes. And it's like, because it's content diarrhea, it's like, okay, I got to compete with all of these other people that are doing 8-hour streams. So I'm also going to do 8-hour streams. And it's just like every day is just like from people who have made it, it's just thousands and thousands of hours of like shit that you got to keep up with from like all of these different people. And it's like, and I know I'm one to talk because I do 8-hour streams too, but I try to keep it infrequent. Like,
yeah, well, that's they're infrequent. They're not scheduled or anything like that. It's not like, oh, it's 11 o'clock Tuesday.
Well, and all the
time to
VODs
go
are still
watch.
online. So like there's people to this day that are like rewatching old streams of mine just because like that's the stuff that they're into.
I do think Twitch in of itself was a mistake. I think the platform in the idea of it in general is just not really a good platform for anything other than slop second monitor content.
Yeah,
And-
that's the ironic thing is I'm getting called slop and Twitch exists.
Yeah.
I'll say it's like, especially for this type of shit Pirate Software is trying to do. It's like you're not you're not going to be a programmer, intellectual, video game auteur by being a Twitch streamer. Like that's not happening.
But yeah, because it's like it takes so much time to be a Twitch streamer.
And like I'm friends with streamer. Like Burke's a streamer. Titus was a streamer. And like the enjoyment there is just being able to pretty much as you said, like watch along with a stream on a second monitor, being able to interact with someone. Those like massive streamer, like fucking the idea of being in a stream with like thousands of other people.
Yeah,
it's like,
I don't
what's
get
even
it
the point?
because-
What's even the point of this?
Yeah, how do you interact with the chat? And the answer is you don't.
You don't. Yeah.
So it's just
they're
it's literally just spam that's on the side of the screen of like people spamming the same emotes over and over, and it's like what's the fun in that? The ideal like stream size for me is like 70 people.
It depends on how active the chat is.
Yeah,
the,
but
the number varies.
Yeah, okay, so it's like 70 people with a streamer who's like really having like a good conversation with the chatters, and then like probably like 150 to 200 otherwise.
Yeah, that's really like the only value that I can see in Twitch is being like just like a social platform kind of.
And really all it can, that's all it can be.
Yeah.
Like, any more than that. The VOD thing, that annoys the heck out of me. It's just like, you delete these in like 2 weeks?
Mm-hmm. And so it's like all this critical evidence of like what actually went down, and a lot of it is just gone because, sorry, we're the biggest web hosting service in the world, and we can't host these stream VODs in any quality level for more than 2 months.
Sorry, who owns our company again? Amazon owns it? Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can't
Little
afford all those web servers.
indie kind of web hoster. Bitching about Twitch is like my last thing for this.
I could do a whole fucking podcast on why Twitch is just like a shit platform.
Mm-hmm. Twitch's value as a platform is just so that there's multiple streaming platforms online, so that there's not a monopoly.
Yeah, so that YouTube actually had to level up their streaming game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really good too. That's remarkable about YouTube. The issue is it's impossible to find people through categories. It's just a complete nightmare.
Yeah, the discoverabilities.
The amount of I find it really funny your pirate stream. Like the amount of streams like that, like the crypto, like pump up those numbers stream. Like that is basically what YouTube is now. But otherwise the rest of the tools are great. Like creating a whole category on your channel for just live streams. It's like, man, why? And they're archived forever. Like,
yeah, so when I first started streaming, that wasn't a thing. So I had to put streams on like the second channel because, you know, it would just like pollute the video feed to have all these streams in there. And so I am grateful that they did that because it just made streaming so much easier. And it's like I get like really good views on some of those streams, and it's like that's because they get to stick around and you get to go back and it's like, hey, Pat watched this H Bomber guy video from like 15, but from a really long time ago. I'll go check that out, I guess.
And I think it's also it also goes back to the fact that we stream so irregularly that like those VODs are in of themselves basically another video.
Mm-hmm. Well, and also like from a social etiquette standpoint, it's like if H Bomber guy had a problem with that stream, well, it's still up. He can grab it at any time and respond to it. Like, it's just such a better kind of system if what we're doing is like reactionary content, and that's what Twitch is now, is reactionary content in terms of like they're getting in fights constantly and they're having arguments, and it's like it's just maddening to me that like all of that stuff disappears.
Yeah, that's some good drama bait stuff there. Can make some good.
Listen, it's very Orwellian because you can basically just say that like anything happened, and it's like, what are you gonna do? Pull up the fucking transcripts?
Yeah.
You don't have any receipts. I could say that you fucked the ferret live on stream.
Well, are we gonna get people who are, you know, gonna come out and defend you and stuff? I'll just accuse them of being bots. Mm-hmm. Twitch has a
because you have that problem
so right now.
Those cultists, yeah.
You got anything left, Andy?
We expended pretty much everything.
All right, that's good. Because
we can make more ferret jokes.
Outside of streams, I don't think I ever really get to talk about Pirate Software again unless something happens.
Watch like after all of our ferret jokes for like an actual police report to come out like in 2 days.
No, what it's gonna be is you guys have fucked me over because like Pirate Software will come back from his workcation and then he'll be like, ooh, I hear this PatricianTV guy is on the level, and then LARP 9 is gonna drop like that hour, and it's gonna be like, oh, they're making jokes about me fucking my ferrets. I guess he's just another slop tuber.
He's gonna come out with like an apology. He's like, guys, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. It was too tempting.
Absolutely not.
No, he'll apologize for fucking the ferrets.
If those ferrets didn't want it, they like just. Why would they even be around me?
No, listen, you don't fuck the ferrets. The ferrets fuck you. Did you ever watch that episode of South Park? It's a really old episode. Mm-hmm. Lemmy Winks. It was a gerbil, but same principle.
Think about that writhing inside you.
Yeah, exactly.
And it comes pre-oiled, so it's a bit. Listen, the ferret jokes, they're a little lowbrow. I'm so happy I got to put that
below the belt.
That image into like somebody's head somewhere in the world.
Oh, that's what I've been implying the entire time when I say he puts ferrets in his ass. But yeah, it's like I don't really care about the ferret stuff. It's just kind of fun to make fun of him.
It's just the low hanging fruit.
He sort of is like he's kind of a ferret.
I would love if
he's a little weaselly.
I would love the timeline where what he chooses to respond to is the Halo Machinima call out video, because not even from like a content perspective, because obviously that is the upside for me. Like I get to respond to it, and it'll drive views to it.
See his response and the optics of it, of people like being like, really, this is the video that you respond to. Yeah,
it's like Turkey Tom got like 2 million views, and like you're watching the Halo Reach Machinima.
It's a good video though, the Turkey Tom video. It was pretty funny. I was surprised. And I wasn't surprised, but like, it's just one of those things where it's like, this has been talked about so much already. Like, how much can really be covered from this more? And it's just like, oh no, this is really good.
So thank you, Pirate Software. You have you've set Twitch discourse back to the Stone Age.
Yeah. Some good drama content.
Are you guys working on anything you want to talk about?
Oh man,
yeah,
I'm in early production of tons of more review stuff. Kind of that Halo 2 video, that was like a big thing for me. I'm kind of thinking like, yeah, I should do a little bit more of this, more Halo as always, but
not a Halo channel? Question mark.
I basically am. I may as well be a Halo channel at this point. That Halo, when that Halo remake comes out, you know I'm making a video.
Nice.
But like I'm working on some stuff. There's a game I'm gonna review for Halloween. Give it the similar Halo 2 treatment. So I'm excited for that.
There was a video that you did. I forget what the name of the game was, but it was a third-person shooter, and like you're sliding around on your knees a lot and stuff.
Vanquish.
Yeah. I watched that video. That was a really good video.
That was a jokey video. I had some nice jokes in that.
But it was also like, it's one of those like, I feel like I don't see these sorts of videos anymore, or at least not as often, where it's like somebody just covering like niche, obscure games that are just like really interesting, like older games and stuff like that. Especially that era.
That was the era.
It's much.
I call it like my instinct. I immediately go to like the 6-hour action game. It's like we had so many of those. Like. Like short haze. Well, I mean, I'm referring to the good ones. I have haze, by the way. I see that sitting on my shelf like the fucking Green Goblin mask. I'm like, man, that's calling to me.
Yeah, there's like so much. That's been an idea that's been in my head for a while. Is like just going back and covering some of those like early to mid 2000s like Xbox 360 era, just like weird games.
I'll say
Too
like
Human was another one.
I don't remember that. Which one was that?
It was just the reason I remember is because I was just like hyped for it. I think it was made by Silicon Knights. It might have been Silicon Knights' last game. I think it killed their studio. It was like a kind of like a isometric. Like imagine like dudes in like Warhammer armor.
Oh, I've seen that. You know, it's so funny how you can recognize a game not by its screenshots but by just its cover. Like I remember I've seen that sitting on shelves untouched.
There's that game that lives in my head rent free. Risen was another one. Yeah.
God, I joked about it earlier. I only know Risen through the fucking Angry Joe review. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's I have that. I bought it once I remembered like the name of that game. I was like, I'm gonna buy this just so that I never forget, because maybe one day I'll actually do a video on this sort of game.
I recently got a PS3. That's how up to date I am. I never grew up with PlayStation. People are shocked to learn that. I literally never had a PlayStation until I was an adult.
That's shocking.
To some people, I feel PlayStation. It's one of those things that everyone has had as like a kid at some point. Like I was
gonna say, I was broke as a kid. You know, there was one console in the household.
I was the Xbox kid. That was my console that my dad had. So I've got PS3. So I'm collecting PS3 games. I've thought about doing like a Resistance trilogy retrospective. I don't know, like that series. I kind of want to do one on Killzone as well.
Yeah.
I'll say
here's the thing. Here's the thing. Nostalgia does really well on YouTube.
It does.
I feel like the sweet spot, like where it really starts to get really good, is around 15 years old.
I think you're. For some reason, like I have no idea like why my Lost Planet video did really well. I literally, for some reason, that's like one of the highest viewed videos on my channel. It's like, why the fuck do you guys care about Lost Planet? and then that Delta Force video took off. It's like, man, so I don't know. I have no idea what is the current nostalgia trend. My idea right now, my focus right now is this is how far ahead for Halloween I am. I'm doing a Metro 2033 full review. That's just been a game that I've grown up with. I want to cover that, and I've read the book too as a teen.
You give it, it's 15 years ago. You give it 2 more years. Halo 4.
Stop. No.
Oh man.
Stop
What
it,
else am I
you.
working on?
I'm getting the spray bottle out.
I've got like smaller games. Like I want to do a Mech Assault retrospective. I want to do a Ninja Gaiden one. I've got that on Xbox. What happened is I'm getting a bunch of nice HDMI converters for my capture card for my Xbox, and I'm getting really nice footage for it. So I just now have an excuse to record games on that.
Somebody has to. I feel like just being like covering old console games at this point puts you in a good niche, because like everybody just all the content creators and stuff. I'm guilty of it too. It's just like, if it's not on PC, if it's not on Steam, I ain't fucking touching it. If I can't record it with OBS, I don't give a shit.
In that Halo 2 video, you can see I was using such a shitty, cheap HDMI converter. People keep asking, like, why does your console footage look like it's dark and slightly green? It's like, well, because what company? I guess that was Hyper. What is their name? Hyperkin. I guess that's the best that they had. So I got a better one. You can even see it in that video. There's some console multiplayer footage. The ones that I recorded, it's a little more crisp.
Was that with Halo 2?
Halo 2. That's the one video that I've been using the console footage for.
Were you recording it from the 360 or on the Xbox original?
Oh, Xbox original.
Yeah.
I'm part of there was a Halo game night community that they were hosting. Like, they'll do like bi-weekly, like, here's our Halo 2 game night. It's like the Insignia community. So I literally had to mod my Xbox to get that working just for that fucking video to get the footage.
Yeah, it's so tempting to do videos on these like weird ass games, but it's just
fun,
like,
yeah.
Man,
gotta find that balance.
Starfield continues.
Hang on. So you said weird ass obscure games, and then your example of not that is Starfield. Starfield is a fucking cryptid in modern gaming discourse. Like, occasionally people have like Bigfoot sightings of like, oh, somebody's talking about Starfield again.
Yeah. Well, it's not 15 years old yet.
I've got Starfield plans as well. I guess the turnaround period of when people are coming back to the game is going to be 2 years.
That's what it seems like.
Or we're just all like, we're all in sync.
I mean, I was back on it last year.
Yeah.
So like really what I just want to do is finish what I started last year.
Well, I'm structuring it in a way where they can drop this nebulous second DLC that totally exists, guys. We promise.
No, it's going to be when they release the PS5 version.
Yeah, well,
we'll see.
It was going to be at Gamescom, and it was going to be at E3 or whatever, Summer Games Fest, and then it was going to be at the Developer Direct. Like, we keep almost hearing about this, but then it never gets announced.
You also we just passed Gamescom, not QuakeCon.
Mm-hmm. That was another fun.
So
guys, they're releasing like, what was it, like? It was just a bundle of like free creations.
Yeah,
and it's like,
yay.
This is the sign, guys. We're finally getting Starfield DLC.
We're so back.
Every fucking patch too. Every patch. Like, there was a patch that's like the creation file size limit is now 2 gigabytes, and it's like, bro, Starborn DLC. Here we go.
They're prepping for it. They're laying down the groundwork. No. There was like an update or something like that. Somebody did some like data mining, and it was referring to a cruise mode. Like, that's what they were able to pull from it, was like cruise mode. And it's just like, oh, the Starborn DLC, we're going to be able to fly between planets.
I still can't believe they called it Starborn. That's
listen, it hasn't happened
I keep
yet.
hearing that.
They just trademarked it.
Yeah, I'll leave Starfield to you two gents.
To the professionals, to
I
the
think-
professional
To the mentally
lunatics. Yeah, the mentally ill. It's a bad omen. I would not wish it on my worst
like-
enemy.
It's like going
Actually,
into
no,
purgatory.
that's Skyrim. Skyrim, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy.
Make a longer Skyrim video. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm working on Dune Awakening right now. I'm pretty far into the script and stuff. No, I'm just working on like a review because it's a very interesting game, and it's probably my Gotti for the year, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, because we didn't we say last night, like, so what else does 2025 even offer?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's looking pretty rough. Listen, you know, they delayed Subnautica 2, so...
I can't wait to
like,
hear about how this is once again the greatest year in gaming yet.
Yeah.
I'm still catching up on old stuff. I still need to fucking beat Stalker 2. Holy shit.
Oh, yeah. Well, you might as well... You
that's
might
a
as well
game.
wait. You might as well wait because they're going to be doing like a total overhaul. They're like
They
updating
do-
it to the latest version of like Unreal.
They do
5.
40. They do fucking 40 gigabyte patches like every 2 weeks. No one's making mods for that game because every time they release an update, it breaks all of them.
Nice.
Man, that right there. That is like a 3-hour review just waiting. That's a juicy target right there.
I had the realization, like, I don't know anything about that game, and the reason is because I just don't trust the discourse surrounding it. Like, I'm just so skeptical of everybody's agendas and stuff, and it's like the only way I'm going to be able to like know if this game is actually good or not is if I play it myself.
Yeah,
I just can't trust anything else.
a polarizing game that is unoptimized and buggy and crashes, and no one can agree on any opinion about it. I think Stalker's back. Baby.
I mean, I was just talking about, you know, like the geopolitical stuff.
So yeah, I'm switching over to a drama channel because gaming is dead, and I gotta move on.
Well, you're going to be releasing, you know, like cycling content, and you're going to start doing reaction streams and everything. Hey, when are we doing more of those Fallout 4 streams?
Relatively soon. I wanted to get this LARP done and then start kind of. There's a few that like we have to do. Like if nothing else, we have to do the Mini a True Nerd one because that's like the big.
Yes, that's the one everybody's waiting for. That's the one where it's a big
shield
have a good
piece, right?
turnout. Yeah.
I don't know how much farther down the rabbit hole of like reaction because that I believe it's a reaction to H Bomber Guy's video, right?
Yes.
So there are then reactions to Mini a True Nerds video, and I don't think we're going down that rabbit like very far down that rabbit hole. If we do,
nah. I would say just leave it at Mini a True Nerds' video.
Fallout 3, a divisive topic.
And if you do, you'd probably have to do it without me because I don't know if I can sit through that much of the same points. That the Fallout community is really big fans of having circular arguments, and so they've been having the same arguments for how old are those videos now? Like this were like 2018, I think.
They're older than that.
Yeah.
H Bomber Guys was like 2016.
Oh my god. 2016.
Almost.
Jesus.
And it's like they're still in the same spot, and it's because they just talk past each other.
Yeah.
And so like there's no productive evolution there. But what is worse, Starfield or Fallout 3? And that's where we're going to end it, folks.